What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to the Nintendo Open Air Podcast. If you have checked the Nintendo news at all within the last week, then most likely you have seen snippered clips from Nintendo's latest corporate management policy briefing, led by none other than the president of Nintendo, Tatsumi Kimishima. We now have official numbers for Nintendo's third quarter, some new plans for Nintendo's upcoming year, and of course a surprise announcement. Tonight we'll be breaking down all the information for you and of course sharing our own thoughts on the latest news out of Kyoto. Before we begin tonight, let me introduce our panel tonight. We have Momo with us as always. Z is also here, and of course Max. And then I'm your host, Jason. So let me do a little bit of an introduction as to what we're talking about tonight in case you aren't familiar with it. So this is Nintendo's third quarter report, which ended in December because their end of fourth quarter is in March. So this is basically what he presents to investors, is what they've been doing for the last while and what they're planning to do in the upcoming months. If you want to check it out for yourself, I've got a link for the PDF in the video description on YouTube, and it's on our Twitter account, so you can read along. And I'll also have it up here in the window, the infographics. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll get to see it for yourself. All right, we're going to start tonight with some news on Nintendo itself that wasn't really included in the PDF. So this was their biggest third quarter operating profit for 8 years. Profits were up 31.3%. Net sales were up 175.5%. And their operating income was up 494.6%. Some huge numbers, huge increases.
Yeah, well, bigger than the Wii U era, that's for sure. They finally got something somebody wants again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what happens when you have a successful portable and a successful home console at the same time, which they haven't had since the Wii and the DS. Yeah, Nintendo's killing it.
That's right. It's good news finally. So hopefully some of that will get reflected to us, right?
Yeah. Switch rewards coming soon.
We'll get nothing as usual.
We were just rehashing the glory days of Club Nintendo before we started tonight. So
yeah, like I said, I had tweeted out to somebody that I'm convinced at this point that Switch rewards are going to be part of the paid online system.
They've been coming soon now on the site.
Yeah.
Now it's been like we're less than a month away from launch. From launch, it's been almost a year now coming soon. It's been over a year now because they were coming soon before the Switch actually came out. I remember.
Yeah, Nintendo redefining soon. Yeah.
And we'll be hitting some other soon points here later in the podcast with some of the announcements.
I will say, however, arguably, there's already a Switch reward available because they have the stupid starter guide for Super Mario Odyssey up. Which I expect that to be among the quality of the Switch rewards.
You cannot download that to your Switch, therefore it is not, in fact, a Switch reward.
That's true.
It was also available for Splatoon 2, right?
Yeah, I think there is one actually. Now that
there were Breath of the Wild,
and there was a Breath of the Wild one. Yeah,
right. Excerpts.
See, they're all over the place. But yeah, I'm sure when it finally does launch, it's going to launch with like a 30% discount on Othello, or maybe Flip Wars, which is Othello.
But Nintendo branded, right?
Nintendo branded, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I forgot Flip Wars was Nintendo branded. You guys brought that up before. It's one of them sneaky little ones.
It was just on sale for like $6.99, I think, or something like that instead of $9.99. I think it did end. I don't think anyone. I thought about it. I was like, I don't know. It's Nintendo first party, and then I watched the trailer again, and I was like, pass.
I did exactly the same thing. I'm like, oh, that's
this from a guy who just bought Monopoly.
Pretty high.
Which, by the way, I will say I have probably got. I'm scared to see when that 10 days rolls around and I see how many hours I've got in Monopoly.
I thought you didn't have to wait 10 days anymore. I'm pretty sure you don't have to wait.
No, it still is. It was only because the New Year reset that when the New Year reset, it showed everybody's software, no matter how old it was. But yeah, I think it is back to the 10-day wait because I think it says like 8 or 9 days. Either way, I'm sure I've got over 20 hours in it.
So that's by design for no apparent reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
First played 6 days
and then it's
ago.
probably a glitch where when the New Year changes, because it's a new year, it must say, well, a year is more than 10 days. So
that's right. It
just pops the number out, I guess. That's my guess. But anyway,
right.
Yeah, you played it.
It's a decent game. If you find it on sale, pick it up. I even played the online just to test.
Did the online
it's a
work?
Ubisoft. It mostly did. Although when people are rolling dice and moving, it lags. So like the dice just fly all over the place in all these different directions. And then like it'll be like somebody's turn to move, and then like you'll see them move a space, and then all of a sudden it's like they're just like 5 spaces away. Like they just fly. So but it didn't disconnect me like Uno did. So there's that. However, I did find out that if you're beating the host of the game and the host rage quits out of the game, it's not a win or a loss for you. It just says the host has disconnected. You'll be sent back to the main menu. So you don't even win when everybody else quits. So you have to be hosting the game and win the game to get a win, apparently.
Wow.
Or have the host not quit on you and win the game.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
especially with how long it takes to play Monopoly.
Oh my God. Yeah. What's funny is after every match, it does tell you how long the match was. So I would say my average matches are about an hour and 20 minutes, and that's with I play like speed rules.
So you'll play for an hour and 20 minutes, and someone will just at the end, someone will just quit on you,
or in the middle of it when they realize like, oh, I'm screwed.
Or so you'll be 45 minutes into a game, and someone will just quit.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he just built a hotel. I quit.
At least you. Oh man. That really that Pokemon card game. I played online a lot of that for a while, and those those matches could drag out for a while. But if somebody just gave up and quit, you won at least.
Yeah, it's like you should.
Yeah.
But oh well, it's the video game equivalent of your friend flipping the board over or something.
That's just like that's been a standard, like some sort of punishment for rage quitters. That's like a standard game thing for like as long as
maybe I'll write Ubisoft and tell them that they need to start putting penalties in for rage quitters, like they can't access the online for an hour.
Like, hey, have you ever thought of installing penalties for rage quitting? That's maybe you should look into that.
They're like, dude, we've only sold 20 copies.
They'll write back and say we're discontinuing the online service in 3 months.
Yeah. Uno was their other Ubisoft. Like, oh my God, this is like really. Yeah. This is how Ubisoft does online games. That's really good to know.
That's how they do online games that have analog versions, I guess.
Well, I'm trying to think of other major Ubisoft titles. Like there's all that Tom Clancy business and stuff, right? Like that seems I don't hear about that being a disaster. Like I don't know, man. I guess like you said, I guess I won't be buying any of Ubisoft's, card and board game ports.
That said, I've enjoyed them all.
Yeah, but you seem to be somebody who likes repetitive things and likes pain.
I don't mind, especially if you can put on a good podcast or put on a movie, even on, pop Netflix up on my phone, and then just kind of mindlessly play Uno or Monopoly for hours while not really paying attention to what you're doing.
In the modern age, I need to feel like I'm getting something for my time, right? I need to feel like I'm making some sort of progress towards something or something.
I've already unlocked all the extra tokens that are in there. It's got like 4 tokens that are locked at the beginning.
That's what I mean. Like, then you're done. You beat the game.
Yeah, I did. I beat Monopoly. Anyway, we've got a lot of investor meeting to get through today.
That's right. We need to reel this back in.
Indeed.
Monopoly was not an investors meeting, so.
But I would say invest in Boardwalk if you land on it. No, just kidding.
If you have invested,
no, Monopoly fits in. He's right. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
If you have invested in Monopoly, it's a perfect time to listen to Nintendo Open Air podcast while you play one game, probably. So,
yeah.
Moving on. Yep. Nintendo Switch sales will be our next topic here. We found out that Nintendo Switch sales are up to 7.24 million for the last 9 months, or I guess, the last quarter, and that brings up a grand total of 14.86 million. And we got a breakdown of that, which was kind of cool. So we've got 5.94 million in the US, 3.72 in Japan, 5.2 in other, which I think is an odd listing, but that incorporates, I guess, probably Australia and Europe.
Europe, yeah, and maybe Russia.
Maybe anywhere else.
Because they're I know they're pushing in Russia now. I don't know if it's out there or not, but that's been something that there's an actual Nintendo of Russia commercial that you can look at on YouTube now.
That's pretty cool.
They should have had Tetris come out. I guess they did. Oh, sorry.
So what their biggest title there is that it has now officially surpassed Wii U lifetime sales. So, and for the first 10 months of sales in North America has surpassed the Wii sales. So I've got the chart up there if you want to check it out. It's pretty interesting. You can see the flat line of the Wii U.
How bad did the Wii U suck? It's right there.
Yeah, as we were looking at this earlier, it's still mind-boggling to me. They blew 1 million of them out the door pretty quickly right around the Christmas season, and then just nothing the rest of the year.
There was still hope for that first month, that launch month of the Wii U. You had no idea how bad it was going to be.
They probably thought, okay, well, but we got Christmas coming. Christmas it'll really take off Christmas of this year. No, it just barely.
Yeah, what's great about that Wii U line is like, show me where the holidays are on that Wii U line.
You can barely see it. You don't even notice it at first
because you cannot tell the difference between the holidays and any other.
Yeah. That poor Wii U, man.
Yeah.
But we all loved it.
But you can tell, however, on the Switch line for sure where the holiday is.
Yep.
Yeah, you can also tell where they released the stock.
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
Yeah.
Which
it looks like it was a fairly steady climb, for most of the part. So.
Yeah, and I think we all probably agree though that there's at least some portion of that could have been higher if they had more availability.
Yeah, at the beginning for sure, and I'm scared to see where the lines go from here.
Yep.
Because as you'll notice, that Wii line just kept climbing up and up and up, and I don't know that the Switch one's going to do that.
I think if the stock was there, I think the Switch and the Wii lines would have been very close. But I expect there to be a large drop closer to the Wii U line, especially.
So what's? Oh, go ahead.
Especially after what we've seen so far this year. That's all I was going to say.
So what do we think is the next big system seller?
Kirby.
Labo?
I think that's what they're banking on is Labo.
No, I think Labo is for people who already have it. I don't know that it's going to get anybody new. Like, I'm going to buy a $300 system for this cardboard kit. I think it'll be nice for people who have kids and already have the system, but I don't think it's going to sell new stuff.
That's a $500 investment if you're buying a Switch to play Labo.
Right.
And and I was saying, if it's a custom, there's that Labo Garage or whatever they call it. Like, apparently, really, the starter kit is just a jumping off point, right? And they expect you to kind of build all your own stuff from there.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember who pointed that out, probably you, Mo. But
yeah.
it's because right, it's really like a dev kit, and I've from my perspective dealing with like Arduino and a little bit of like the Raspberry Pi stuff and whatever, it's in that same mindset. Right, it's like they give you kind of a general basic development environment and let you figure out what to do with it.
Like one of the people who went hands-on said you can even like make the RC car, you can turn on like the infrared or night vision camera on the Joy-Con and have the RC car seek out a person or seek out a living thing by it'll sense, it'll see on its camera where the heat register is and you can like program it to go after that person.
Oh,
as long as they're on a hardwood floor
or whatever. Yeah. I'm sure there's all sorts of limitations, but it's neat.
There's just like cool things that you could program it to do. So it gives you the tools, and then you could kind of create, based on the tools that it gives you, you could come up. So there's going to be so much cool crap.
The people are coming up with
the people are you're gonna be seeing those for years to come, on all the news sites.
But here's the thing: is this could get them a foot in the door in an educational type environment, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like how exactly? I'm not sure. Like,
I can't see schools buying more than a Switch.
or for one per classroom. Like I see this as like when I was a kid, I would occasionally go to these summer programs that were like 2 weeks long or something, where you'd
workshops,
build model the workshop things. You'd build model rockets, or you'd do whatever. Like I could see that kind of thing, but again, it's at the end of the day, it's still marketing for Nintendo, so I don't see it as well. And again, I took one that was pretty much, we used robotics kits. It was like a robotics class, but it was just 2 weeks of playing with a giant, it was like 10 robotics kits in a giant pile that we all got to play with.
That'll be next year when Nintendo Robo launches. With the self-walking legs.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about the Switch being the center of a galaxy of hardware. If Labo is the start, I mean, there's very obvious extensions to making, bigger chunks of hardware that are not made out of cardboard. Plastic things that are Bluetooth enabled. There's no reason you couldn't have a remote control car that just runs off of Bluetooth, that actually has wheels and stuff, that doesn't require you to shove a Joy-Con in it. Right? There's no reason that can't exist.
But it will.
And Nintendo is a toy maker. So exactly. I do think there's a fair likelihood that we will see stuff like that's that's tied into it. We'll see.
Cardboard Ultra Hand.
But I mean, they need something that's going to continue to drive the kinds of sales that they've had if they want to keep their investors happy. And where is it?
Yeah, I'm almost wondering now if like E3, if they're just saving everything in the world for E3.
They don't want to do that though. They want to get consistent numbers for their investors, right? They want to have
they say.
They claim they want to have this consistent March. So where is it? Labo in
you've
May?
got Donkey Kong. You've got a new Kirby. You've got Mario Tennis.
We'll be rolling
some
into
third-party stuff.
A little bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
In just a little
There's
bit.
tons of stuff.
Yeah,
but again, it sounds like, it sounds like the Wii U launch schedule. A Mario Tennis, a Kirby.
I feel like now that they got you. I feel like more they're putting out trickling out a few titles, but we knew this. I mean, we knew they can't.
But these are
they're not going to be able to sustain.
These are second tier titles. Anything side scroller is immediately a second tier title. Kirby is immediately a second tier title. Sorry, go ahead.
If you listen to what Kimishima is saying, he said it in several interviews. He said it before this and during this. They're focusing on keeping people playing what's already there, by DLC, etc., and then coming out with these strange things like Libo to give us.
It worked so well with Splatoon on the Wii U. They just kept coming out with updates all the time that made you forget the fact that there was no other games.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. I mean, it was again, we were a hungry audience because there were no other games. But I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, you're talking about a console. You can see here on the numbers, it's a failed console compared to a console that's skyrocketing ahead right now.
Yeah. Like I said, I think third parties are going to pick up a lot of that slack. Apparently, tons of mobile games are going to be coming.
Well, but look at the flattening out on this graph that we're looking at here, though.
Yeah.
Right? It almost gets up to Wii numbers, and then it's tapering off. It doesn't look like it's going to hit them. You know?
But that's a hard thing to do. I mean,
we're looking at Japan.
The most we're also looking at the most successful console of all time versus the Nintendo Switch.
The most successful Nintendo console of all time.
Yeah.
And the European sell-through, they did hit it, but you can see it's already making a downward turn.
Yeah, and US I think is the same. I think US peaked over it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but but now it's flattening out, whereas the Wii was on its upswing because that was holiday. So I don't know. I mean, it had its peak, and then after Christmas, like, you know what I mean? There weren't people that couldn't get one for Christmas that were still hunting for one, like your buddy that said at Christmas Eve said he wanted one. Like that was not a normal thing. Oh, obviously, but
it'd be nice too to see first year 3DS versus first year Switch, because 3DS really turned it around, you know, and has gone on to be a long sustaining thing. So I mean, it's still early, and throughout its life, they're going to keep releasing. We know there's going to be tons more blockbuster titles, but yeah, right now it's kind of a boring time to be a Switch owner. Unless you're still playing the titles.
Unless you're looking to buy the games that we've all finished months ago.
Yeah.
We got it for Christmas.
Well, yeah, it's like that buddy of mine at work that I told him. When the Switch first came out, we had the conversation, and he's one of those, you know, one of us few Wii U owners. And he's like, no, I'm picking up Breath of the Wild on Wii U. I have no interest in the Switch. And like a week or two ago, I just told him, you know, you were right. I mean, not that I haven't enjoyed mine. I've had a good time with mine. I love Splatoon 2 and whatever, but nothing has really come close to Zelda in terms of quality of game. There's a few good Nintendo exclusives, sure. But right, otherwise it's ports of stuff that's come out on other consoles or on PC already. Like, you know what I mean? It's still mostly stuff you can get elsewhere for cheaper at a better frame rate and resolution.
But also for people like myself who don't have other consoles, and I don't have a PC.
Now
like
for
Doom was great to have, and you know, Skyrim's great to have.
I'm talking to a guy who's got a PlayStation 4 and some sort of moderate gaming PC. So, right, and he's a Nintendo fan. So the only thing that's got his attention is he's really kind of drooling over Mario.
Yeah.
But you know, ARMS, meh. Splatoon for some people, we wanted Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
For him, he had a good time with Splatoon 1, but he wasn't particularly chomping at the bit to go back. And I'm sure there were, I don't know how many. I'd be curious, and I don't know if Nintendo would even have hard numbers on that. They probably wouldn't. But how many people, were Splatoon 1 and 2 owners, or how many people passed on Splatoon 2, or whatever? How many people were new to Splatoon 2? But yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? For somebody who had a Wii U and it was their second console, which is most people, there's not a ton on here for them right now. For you, Mo, who's you're a very Nintendo loyalist, it's a great time to be a Nintendo fan. To have things like Doom and Skyrim and
Yeah, I'm glad just to see some third-party stuff coming and stuff that you've heard of before coming. And like I said, I think this year's going to be big for, especially the second half of this year. I think there's going to be a ton of stuff that isn't announced yet that we're going to hear about, of them just porting over cool stuff. I will fully predict GTA will be on it by Christmas of this year.
I hope so.
I don't see there's any way that not happening. But yeah, I mean,
did we ever hear numbers on Doom? I know there was that campaign to make Doom a $1 million seller on Switch.
No, I don't know how it did really. Like I said, the price is pretty off-putting if you have any kind of brain and can see what it goes for on any other system. That you're just like, well, it's going to come down.
Even $10 off, even dropping it at 50 would have been. I think that would have sold.
They did just have a sale.
A lot more people.
It was on sale in the eShop for 30% off last week.
Sure, but retail,
it is back it's in the best sellers list again, although it's like number 16 out of 20 or whatever. So it's down towards the bottom of the best sellers in the eShop, but
and again, I would double dip on it if it were $20 and had Splatoon style motion control aiming.
But then there was just something in the news that Puyo Tetris just said that they are almost at 1 million units sold. And that was like almost a launch title.
Yep. And I wonder if it isn't the Christmas sales where somebody was looking, it's like, okay, I've spent $300 on a Switch. What can I afford to put, with
cheap.
it? Yep.
Well, and I'm sure there's a fair amount of people that have that same mindset that we do, that it's a Nintendo console and it's technically a handheld Nintendo console. It pretty much has to have Tetris on it.
Yeah.
And that's a quality game too, but it's like that's one of those ones that launched in the first month and still hasn't hit 1 million yet. But it's also an easy pass amongst all the great software that came out last year. If you're not someone who's going to buy 2 games a month when the Switch comes out,
It's been appealing to me. I enjoyed the demo, and I've planned on picking it up. And then it's like, oh, something.
They almost made the demo too good because you can get a lot of playability out of the demo for that game.
Yep. If you haven't played the demo and you're at least a bit interested, definitely worth the download.
Yeah. So speaking of games doing good in sales,
that's right. We've got the next big topic is 3 titles have passed 6 million unit mark. And of course, those are the 3 on the screen: Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Super Mario Odyssey. No surprises there, I don't think.
2 out of 3, and just an interesting point that 2 out of 3 effectively were also released on Wii U.
Yeah. I have some numbers there that are kind of interesting. For Breath of the Wild, okay, you got 6 million on Switch, 1.5 million that are on Wii U. Mario Kart 8 had a lifetime sales of 7.64 million. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is already at 6.5 million. So, pretty big.
Yeah, and it is an evergreen. Like that will continue to sell as people continue to buy Switches. So
I think the more surprising fact is that only half the people that owned a Wii U bought Mario Kart 8.
Wait, how many? What were Wii U
numbers? They playing?
7.6 million lifetime on Mario Kart 8. Yeah, I don't get that. I thought everybody had that.
Yeah,
and they were giving away a free game when it launched too.
Yeah,
and I mean, I bought, that was one of the games I bought 2 copies of because the wife had a Wii U. Yeah, that's a trip.
But it's a great game, and that's as we all have said many times, it's those evergreen ones that will just keep going. It'll be. I guess the real thing now is it's been stated multiple times by other people that Mario Kart has a unique thing that there's never been more than 1 Mario Kart released for a system.
Except for the Game Boy Advance. I'm certain.
Did it have Super Circuit? It had Super Circuit, and
I'm pretty sure, or am I crazy? Maybe I'm thinking of.
It's only been 1 per.
Maybe I'm thinking of the
system
2
lifetime.
Maybe I'm thinking of the 2 F-Zero titles for some reason that they dropped on GBA.
There were 2. There were those. Maximum Blast. But either way, so the question now is, with it basically launching with a port, if at some point in the in the life of the Switch will we see a Mario Kart 9, or even I would almost. What if they did like Mario Kart Double Dash Deluxe, or which something like that? That would fit well with their multiplayer.
One of the things they're touting here is that the reason that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did so well is because, of course, you can use the split Joy-Con feature.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which sure everybody plays once. Wow, I can't see that.
But you know what? No, but here's the thing about that. I will say this. I bet you there's a fair amount of people that bought a Switch, bought Mario Kart, didn't buy a Pro Controller. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah, and a friend comes over.
Families with kids or whatever.
Yeah.
I
kids I feel are the ones who are going to suffer with the sideways Joy-Con for a year.
But okay, but we dealt NES.
Yeah.
The little square 2-button, it wasn't again, that was state of the art for its day, and Nintendo's to be commended. But compared to a modern ergonomic controller, that thing's worse than the Joy-Cons.
I mean, I guess the Joy-Con's a little bit more comfortable, but although tinier. But if you got tiny kid hands.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Fun.
For when I, busted out the family gatherings and I got a bunch of little 8 to 10-year-olds running around, and their hands are perfect size for it. It's perfect for them.
I think about it. Yeah, traveling as well. Traveling as well, you got the guy, maybe on the plane says, "Hey, is that a Switch?"
There's been a lot of stories of that, of people. There was somebody, I think, on Reddit I saw that was talking about Rocket League. They were playing it on a plane, and some guy's like, "Hey, what's that?" And he said he just handed the guy the Joy-Con and was like, "Let's play a little one-on-one," and had a good time. There's a lot of those plane things with just, "Hey, what you got there?" kind of things, and someone being able to easily just pass them a Joy-Con. So
I had somebody ask me on a plane, but they didn't seem interested in playing anything. And it was when I'd first gotten it, and I don't even think Mario Kart had come out yet. So all I had really was Zelda. So there was nothing. You know what I mean?
You didn't offer one to Switch.
No. I was not in the mode of.
It's a perfect game for an airplane.
Oh yeah, totally. Get up and start shaking something around violently and see if you get tackled.
Yeah, on a plane.
He's got a gun. No, it's a Joy-Con.
Yeah. Stand up and start pretending you're shooting at each other. That's a good idea.
That's when you want to hope that they bought the neon ones and not the gray. But anyway, I don't think it's a big surprise that Mario Kart sold well.
And of course, the top-selling Switch title, of course, Super Mario Odyssey.
I can't tell if that's a surprise or not.
It is to me.
It's not. But in such a short period of time, it's sold more than Mario Kart 8, right? It's the best selling.
Here's something to consider. People who got a Switch later, Zelda is already old, right? Zelda's a year old now. So for at least some people, it's like, oh, that's an old game. Game of the year, best game ever, whatever. Oh, that came out last year. It's old.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of people, I'm sure pretty much everyone who had a Switch when Mario came out bought Mario, or a huge portion, 90% of them or something stupid. But people who bought Switches after Zelda, some of them didn't go back and pick up Zelda.
Yeah. It's easy to be like, oh, and if you are coming from another environment of a PlayStation or an Xbox, you might even be of the foolish mindset that, oh, I'll just wait for it to drop. It's been out almost a year. I'll just wait for the price drop.
I'm sure it's going to drop to $20 like normal games do after a year. Nope.
Or 6 months.
I should point out,
just go up.
I should point out this is talking about third quarter sales as well. So you've got the Christmas season, and there's more likely kids asking for Odyssey than Well, I mean, this is
fair enough. Fair enough. Parents buying it for kids are much more likely to buy it with Odyssey. Right. And there was an Odyssey. Yeah, we are another detail we're neglecting. Odyssey was a pack-in. Zelda never was.
Yeah,
that's true.
For a limited group of people, yeah, it was.
I never saw. I would know. I think I did see an Odyssey pack-in once, like behind the counter at Best Buy, already sold, but.
But also, it's undeniable that Mario has a much wider appeal than Zelda, even.
Yeah, it surprises me really, because it's like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and, like, you know what I mean. The sword and sorcery, Dungeons and Dragons-y type stuff has always, you know what I mean. That's a global, like you know what I mean. It's a global consciousness kind of thing. I figured, whereas a plumber that jumps on mushrooms is not quite so universally.
But at the same time, my daughter's 4. She wouldn't care less, and I don't know that she could handle the control and intricacy and understand all the different mechanisms in a Breath of the Wild. Whereas Odyssey, she loves. And
you know what? I guess from the very get-go, the original Zelda was a more complicated kind of game. Mario, you go, like, right? There's nothing you have to
run
know
around
about
and
Mario.
collect stuff. Yeah.
You go, well, not even that. The first Mario game, you go one direction and you jump over stuff that looks like it's going to hurt you, and that's pretty much all you have to know about the game. Whereas Zelda, there's swords and upgrades and items and go ahead.
I was just going to say, and you've got recognizability as well. I mean, if you walk out on the street, you showed people a picture of Link and a picture of Mario, they're going to know who Mario is, most likely. Maybe not Link.
True. And Mario was huge in arcades, even, like, you know what I mean? Mario was super well known even before the NES even it came out. Whereas Zelda was a product of the NES specifically. So if you didn't have an NES at the time when the first game came out, you likely didn't care. So it you know what I mean? And then same thing for Ocarina of Time and the N64, which had kind of a limited release anyway, right? That didn't sell all that great. So
imagine being
I can
a child
see
and your favorite weapon breaks. Oh.
but right, there's like the arcade. That was the thing about arcades, and that's part of the thing that I kind of miss now, is that it was a really, arcades were a very democratic kind of thing. Anybody could roll in, pay a quarter to play anything. So you know what I mean? Every kid knew who Mario was, whether their parents could afford to buy them a game console or not. In my age group, because any kid could scare up a quarter. Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that's kind of missing now. Now there's a barrier to entry for all this stuff, and for Zelda there was. So I can see that. I guess Mario still is kind of the super universal icon.
Well, that's what's big too about them promoting that. Nintendo, even in this thing, have said that they want to continue to promote their IPs and doing so in other ways. Now, your kid, a parent might hand the kid their mobile phone with Mario Run on it. The kid can get exposed that way.
And even to talk about
a nice bowl of Mario cereal.
Even to talk about arcades in the modern day times, most of the higher end arcade places like Dave & Buster's and stuff like that have Mario Kart in their arcade. So people know it from there. Supposedly it's one of their more popular games. I don't know. I don't go there, but so modern day arcades are still there too with Mario.
It's friendly, it's accessible. Anybody that sees it isn't going to be intimidated. If you look at that cover,
those places are kind of pricey, I don't know, aren't they? Those restaurants, the Dave & Buster's and whatever.
I've only been in one once, and I didn't play anything.
I think you go in, you put $1 in the change machine, and it gives you tokens or whatever.
The one I went to had cards where you loaded money onto a credit card type deal.
That way now, yeah.
Yeah, it's how it works these days.
Yeah.
Future, but yeah.
So there is one other game that was mentioned in this, and I don't know if it's a game that any of us have ever heard of. Splatoon 2.
Splatoon 2.
So it has surpassed Wii U lifetime sales, and I looked up the numbers for that. That's 4.91 million sold compared to 4.69 on the Wii U. So that's a pretty big jump.
So especially in the amount of time that it's been out. It's I mean, anytime you've got 1 million sales on anything, it's good. So to do 4.5 million, so that's pretty decent numbers for, especially if you think at the time. I don't know how many were actually in the market. Were there 6 or 7 million in the market at that time? Probably when it launched.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I would imagine it was a substantially over 50% attach rate.
Yeah.
Because what the hell else was there at the time?
Yeah.
We get the attach rate for this time for Japan only, which I don't know what that's about, but 60% in Japan. I don't know if it's
because that's the region that it was most impressive in, probably.
Probably. It would have been nice to see North America and Europe and other regions, but still.
Yeah.
Still good.
And I wonder, I wish we could see like the end of the Wii U's lifespan sales, because I wonder how many people were just nabbing them up on sweet deals, like just waiting for the sell off at the end of its life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then,
I think they ruined that.
Key titles. How did they ruin
all of them? By pulling all of them. Yeah, like we
that's
talked
right.
about that
We
before. Like
they were all going in landfill.
It was like a few months before the Switch came out. It's like the Wii U's were just not on shelves all of a sudden. They were just gone, and I'm sure that Nintendo was buying those back, or something happened to avoid market confusion. But they just all went away. Well, it's like, and they didn't sell them.
Probably to make sure people weren't going out and buying Wii U's just to play Breath of the Wild.
Well, you saw the photo that came up last week with Mario and the steamroller rolling over all those.
Yeah, that's true.
All those things. We didn't want to believe that it could be Splatoon in there.
Yeah, I think, but yeah, Z brings up a good point. They probably did say, if you're going to play Breath of the Wild on Wii U, it's because you bought a Wii U, and this is our thank you for buying a Wii U. But we're not going to have it. We're not going to have one single sale stolen by the Wii U, which should be on Switch. So I guess that's smart in that way too, especially as well received as it was at launch. But yeah, driver of system sales, Splatoon 2.
I got some different numbers here that were for the top selling Switch games, and I believe this included games that had a digital and retail version, and I'm not sure why it's different from what's in the presentation, but it has Mario Odyssey listed at 9.07 million over 7.5 million, which is in the present. So, and of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Breath of the Wild was third, Splatoon 2 was fourth, and then we had honorable mentions, I guess, which is 1-2 Switch at 1.88 million and ARMS at 1.61 million. So, less than half of Splatoon.
1-2 Switch outsold ARMS. Oh.
That says something right there. I feel sorry for all 1.88 million of those people.
Yeah, but it's one of those cool tech demo show off.
Yeah. I don't need your pity.
To do things. Yeah. No, it's a great game.
It is.
I'm sure it'll be a Nintendo Select eventually.
Yeah, and it should have been from the get-go. But I mean,
just the fact that we live in a world where 1-2 Switch is a million-selling game. Well, not as a pack-in.
Maybe Nintendo knew what was up there, you know?
Yeah. They're like there's only one way we can sell 1 million copies of this. We can either pack it in or we can have it be one of the only launch titles. Because there was 5? So they were like, we're at least gonna get 1/5 of the sales.
Wait a minute. Yeah, how would you? Okay, so let's go back and think about this since we're almost a year on anyway. Yeah. It was Zelda 1-2 Switch. Those were the first parties, and Snipper Clips was published by Nintendo, but wasn't theirs.
Yeah, and that was eShop only, but there was Bomberman R, Super Bomberman R.
Oh, that's
there was
right.
Skylanders.
Pretty close.
Yeah, Just Dance.
Oh, I forgot the last gasp of
yeah.
Skylanders.
Yeah. And but I think officially all that was there was Breath of the Wild, 1-2 Switch, Super Bomberman, Skylanders, and Just Dance were the ones that actually had physical releases day one.
And we kind of scoffed.
The eShop had Fast Racing Neo and Snipper Clips.
That's right. We kind of scoffed, but they were right. Zelda was really all anybody needed.
Yeah. And I've got a couple friends who recently have picked up Switch. I've got at least 2 on my friends list that have bought in the last 2 months, and they're still putting their hours in on Zelda. Like that was the one that they wanted. And then I think one of them picked up Mario Kart 8, and they're probably thinking about Odyssey.
I got that buddy of mine that used to work at Blizzard that swore off video games for a little while. But he was talking about it when it came out, and since then I know he keeps checking in on it, but I haven't been able to sell him yet. But I know he'd play Zelda. There's a couple people on the friend list in our little circle that I see on Zelda still.
I don't know if we skipped it or not. Did they do an infographic on Zelda as well? Remember, Jason? Did they? Okay. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, applauded worldwide to a string of awards.
That's
the best game released. So yeah, 6 million. Nothing too shabby.
No, definitely not.
So
it's still a world I enjoy going back to. If they were to dump more DLC to give me another excuse to go back into Zelda.
Z finally got himself a motorcycle this week.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, man.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Working that. Let's look forward.
That's right.
Let's see. Staying on track.
We've kind of already delved into this a bit, but the future of Switch. And that's right. They're kind of their points that they're hitting at here is they want to maintain the interest of purchasers, which is a weird word. So if we've bought it, they want to keep our interest, and they also want to reach a broader range of consumers. So, and they believe that due to the attach rate of top titles, these games will drive hardware sales. So that's kind of what we've already talked about there with attach rate. So they believe in this will continue to push them through.
Well, here's the problem: is anybody who's gonna buy a system for a game is gonna buy that system when the game came out.
Yep.
So Zelda is not going to sell any more systems. Mario is not going to sell.
There still could be more people getting, like, let's say last year tax return comes out, you want to switch. There's no Switches to buy. Maybe something else comes up, you get your car fixed, your water heater goes out, whatever. This year, you get your tax return, you've got a Switch on the shelf, and you've got Mario Odyssey, and you've got Zelda. So it might get a little uptick, at least here in the US.
Yeah, but it's not. But you know what I mean. You're not buying the Switch for the Zelda at that point. You're just, you're budgeting and buying the Switch when you can. Yeah. But it's not. Yeah. I don't see it as the right. If you're saying this is what's selling the system, is someone saying I gotta play this game, like.
You want to have new games that are
those
compelling.
Are few and far between, and there's not new stuff in the stable. There's not there's people here and there that'll be like, okay, I'm finally getting around to picking this up so I can play Mario or so I can play Zelda, but those are few and far between, and they need new stuff in the stable to really be driving interest. And Labo in May is not it.
Don't underestimate Funky Mode. The Donkey Kong Country crowd's going to start coming out of the woodwork.
Well, I kind of get what Z's saying. This is a scary strategy for a company to say one of the things that we're pinning the future of our game console on is people are going to be interested in the games that's already there.
Yeah, because to maintain the interest of purchasers and to encourage purchasers by a broader range, they could do the same thing by just putting out new interesting games.
Yep. But to kind of follow up on what they meant there, they said that more DLC. Of course, that's what they just keep reiterating. More DLC to maintain the interest of purchasers, and then 1-2 Switch and ARMS to reach the broader audience, non-gamers. So
yeah.
Well, ARMS is already like an unmitigated failure. Like they've announced that. I mean, the sales numbers are not good. They've announced that they're already cutting off DLC pretty early, or updates anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I find it funny that they're really trying to rosy over everything, right?
But that's
just
good,
say,
though.
Hey, look,
how sad would it be if they kept trying to beat a dead horse for the next year and kept trying to put out new ARMS stuff and be like, try ARMS. Have you tried ARMS? ARMS is great. Try ARMS.
But then to me, it's like any investor who's paid any sort of attention whatsoever is like, 1-2 Switch and ARMS? Are you kidding, man?
Yeah.
You know.
It's unlike Nintendo as well, because normally if something doesn't do well, like they have with the Wii U, they've brought it up in this, but they normally kind of push it away and don't mention it. It's like, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they're still well, ARMS is a quality title. I don't know about 1-2 Switch. For a half hour to an hour, it's probably a quality title. Or to somebody that doesn't play video games. But yeah, it's not a system seller, that's for sure.
It's a tech demo.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Drive hardware.
That's right. Just kind of scrolling through here. I mean, this is kind of what we've already covered here.
Yeah.
Depending on the big four there to keep selling.
They're saying these are our evergreens so far.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, but now here's a question.
All right.
Where are they dropping? Where are they name dropping the big third party titles that are making lots of money on this, that are driving interest in the Switch?
Oh, it's here.
It's coming up. He hasn't.
Well, that's their little indie list, but we don't see any numbers for any of that, do we?
No, I don't think so. Other than there's so many on the Switch, like a number of over 300 titles, I believe is the number.
No, but I mean numbers sold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the only.
Like they're not like because that's those. Because here's the deal. They're right.
But does an investor care about? Well, I guess to some degree they could. They might not. Yeah.
They should. A wise investor should care about what their third party support rate is like, and what third party sales numbers are directly affects that, right?
Yeah,
because really what's bothering me right now is we saw right in November, we just saw a ton of third party AAA titles dropping out. Doom, Skyrim, LA Noire, the Resident Evils. There were a few others in there, and
awful NBA 2K, which
and
from what I understand is playable.
Forgetting
WWE,
but so there was this big, and it was like, okay, the floodgates are open, and again now just shut off. And I think I complained about this last week. It's like the scene in the new Mad Max movie with the water, where they just they open it and just like blast everybody, like drinking from a fire hose, and then okay, done. That's all you get.
I haven't seen an infographic with Xenoblade yet.
I mean, it seems to me like the reason Nintendo doesn't have big stuff in the pipe right now is they were expecting all the third parties to be like Bethesda and whoever else jumping in with their GTAs and their Calls of Duty and whatever. And where is that stuff? That's what's bothering me. I don't like what else is announced besides Dark Souls.
Yeah.
A big one.
But I don't know. At this time last year, I guess they had shown us everything that was coming out for the year. So
that's true. The January,
but I mean, as far as what to look, like I said, I feel like they're holding back right now on telling us what's coming. But I have no doubt that there's a bunch of stuff coming.
They certainly better be, because it's looking pretty grim right now. It's looking it's looking like those 6-month stints of the Wii U where it's just like, okay, any day now, guys, give me something.
Yoshi and Kirby, what more could you want? Funky mode.
I will say I'm totally jumping on that Yoshi one with the cardboard, and I do hope they do a Labo tie-in. But it looks good. And the Yoshi Yarn one, the wife loved it. That's something I can let the kid watch while the wife and I play.
So, coming back to the investors meeting here, we've got a couple charts here. They're kind of the same thing. It shows the attach rate for Nintendo software titles, and they're comparing this between the Switch and the Wii. And the first one shows all of Wii Sports, and this just grays out what came with the console bundled. So,
and if you scroll back up, I noticed there's a line there on the graph above.
Here?
Yeah, do you see it?
Oh, there is a little tiny line for sports.
There's a little white line there.
Well, there is right here.
Yeah, I just noticed that, and I didn't spot that before. So it's like, why do they even have two graphs? What's the point?
They want to distract you from the other titles there, I think, maybe.
I just want to remind you that Wii Sports is a massive game.
And wait a minute, is that Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
Or is that Twilight? That's probably Twilight.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is it Twilight?
Yep. There's Wolf Link's head and Midna's mask.
Okay.
That's what those are coming out the top. Okay.
Okay.
So console attach rates look pretty good.
Yeah,
also, you got the Wii sold a ton of consoles. And are these during just the? Well, these are probably lifetime too, right?
Yep, they would be lifetime.
And I honestly feel like a lot of people with their Wii. I don't know how long you guys played your Wii, but like I feel like most people probably didn't play it, even as much as they played their Wii U.
I played it.
I played way more. Well, so did I, but there were long stints where it gathered dust. And not for lack of games coming out, or just lack of interest, because it was a SD console in an HD world, and it was woefully underpowered compared to what I could do on my PC at the time, or any of the other consoles.
Yeah.
Actually, that was when I was obsessed with WoW. So the Wii that was part of the reason the Wii gathered dust. Like there's a bunch of stuff that I missed on the Wii and didn't realize and went back later, like this Excitebots and Excite Truck business.
I can say though the quality of the games that they're showing for the Switch all pretty much would beat the quality on the Wii ones.
Galaxy.
The ones they're
Galaxy there though.
The ones they're comparing here, he's definitely
good. Mario Party, yeah.
Mario Party and Wii Play.
Okay, well, that said, Wii Play sucked a donkey. Wii Sports, I would like something. I would like a Wii Sports 3 or something.
It's hard to believe that almost half the people that bought a Wii had Wii Play. Like, were they giving it away for free or something?
They were. You know why? It was because it was the. Because
it came with the Joy-Con.
It was the only way to get a Wiimote. Yeah,
or a Wiimote rather. Wow.
For like a 6 month period, you could not get Wiimotes like anywhere, and it was the only way to get like an extra one.
Yeah.
Which again was probably intentional by Nintendo.
And it also
still pretty good. Over half the people that own a Switch have at least 2 of those games. Almost 3.
Yep.
What were you saying, Jay?
I was just going to say the Wii Play was also a game that stayed around forever and you could find on clearance with the Wiimote.
Yeah.
So even if you didn't need the extra Wiimote at the time, it's like,
pick it up for $20 with a Wiimote. Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough. I think
That's right.
in fact, I think I bought it kind of late for that reason, because it was cheap and it was like, oh yeah, I'll pick up an extra Wiimote.
It's like picking up Animal Crossing for the Wii U just so you can get the amiibo.
Yeah, exactly. It's cheap enough. Why not?
Yeah.
That said, Wii Play wasn't. I have to say, Wii Play wasn't terrible. Like I just randomly I gave one of my nieces my Wii, like as an extended loan, just because she liked Mario Kart, and she's like, yeah, okay, I'll borrow it. And she and her boyfriend and my other niece have gotten some play out of it. And actually, Wii Play is they play a good amount of that one. They love the cow one. Do you ever do the one where you're riding the bull or whatever?
Actually,
So,
not the game.
Point being, there's some of those. I mean, it was a Nintendo first party title. Some of those little mini games weren't terrible. They're actually pretty good. The air hockey was fun, and a few of them were not bad. But it's definitely not a however many million seller.
I think we're gonna see something like that on the Switch at some point. I don't know if they'll use the Mii's or not, but I think they'll put out some sort of Nintendo mini game extravaganza.
I think it'll just be Mario Party.
Yeah.
Switch Sports.
I would like
name.
I would like a Switch Sports. And I genuinely believe that would sell. I think they want to kind of get away from the Wii name and whatever, but I think Switch Sports will go, oh, it's like the old Wii Sports. I think that'll get some casuals back on board. If they were to just kind of drop it like that. Doesn't have to use Mii's, maybe it can, or whatever.
What if they just bundled the hardware with a digital game called Switch Bowling that used the Joy-Con?
Yeah, and really, you're right. For a Switch Sports, Switch Bowling is the only thing that they would need.
Yeah.
But anyway, good attach rates though for a new console in its first year.
You know what would be a neat trick for Switch Sports? They use the infrared camera, and then you can actually put a golf ball on the ground in front of you and do your swing. It would work.
Pack it in with a golf ball.
It would totally work. They can
just
pack it in with a cheap ping pong ball or a golf ball.
Yeah, and put reflective tape on the points where you're supposed to hit.
Have a little picture of Mario on it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Let's kickstart it.
Even if they done stuff like this with the Mario sports titles, like if this Mario Tennis Aces that's coming out, if that had a Wii Sports tennis type feel to it, how much more appealing would that be if it had that kind of mode to it?
Yeah,
it probably will. Now that you mention it, I didn't even think about that until you just brought it up. But why wouldn't it? I'm sure it will.
I'm sure we're gonna see videos of people swinging their Joy-Con with a strap attached soon enough. Yeah, with Mario Aces.
I'm sure. And that, you know what? I hate to say that makes it slightly more appealing to me. I still probably won't pick it up.
Speaking of appealing,
that's something I would pick up for a $20 select per chance down the road, though.
Here's a gruesome twosome.
Definitely.
And again, let me say, at like the last two social gatherings I've been to where I busted out the Switch, these were the two most popular. Yeah, these were the ones that people were most excited about.
I think that's what those games are made for. Exactly that. Yeah, room full of people.
Yep. Their marketing, that's exactly 1-2 Switch is, hey, look what this can do for 5 minutes.
And then never again. Oh.
Yeah, and then never again until the next social situation. Because again, I mean, I wish it logged your time on 1-2 Switch. Because I've probably put at least a good, 5 or 10 hours into it. I would think it might even be up to 10 hours by now. It doesn't log your time because it doesn't play as a person, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're not. It doesn't, like, when you play it, you're just
you load it
not as a user.
Load it from your thing. I don't know.
No, but you're not. You know what I mean? Every other game, when you launch it, it asks you who you launch it as. This one, it doesn't.
Right. Oh, really? Huh,
same way as Hulu. Hulu does the same thing. Hulu asks you once you're in Hulu what profile you want to use, but it's not tied to your Switch profile. It doesn't have a profile. So if I'm on Hulu, I don't think it tells. Oh yeah, if I'm watching Hulu or if I'm playing 1-2 Switch, it doesn't tell you guys I'm online. I'm just offline because I'm not playing anything as myself. It's just being played by nobody according to the Switch.
The point of this infographic apparently was that they are going to promote more wide appeal software such as these titles.
Well, the text kind of rolled into this. What was the text of this one, Jason?
Over here.
And it kind of rolled into what I was saying. we have other Nintendo software titles that are blah, 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 that demonstrate the uniqueness of Nintendo Switch gameplay. Blah 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 blah. Our aim is to offer more software options to spark interest in Nintendo Switch among consumers considering a purchase.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it is exactly. I mean, right? I believe that I don't know about ARMS as much. I think that's how they're trying to position ARMS because it was a failure. But 1-2 Switch is absolutely it was created as a marketing tool.
Yeah, I mean it's a tech demo all the way.
It was if we can get people to buy this. Well, but I mean it was. I think specifically in meetings, it was like we got to create a game that we can get people to buy that'll get some buzz and have a little wow factor to get, since this is a unit that's designed to be taken out in public, we gotta design something specifically that will get people's attention if somebody's playing it nearby. And I'm a sucker because I fell for it. I paid them to market their product for them.
Like you said, January, there was kind of that rude awakening for me and the exciting moment for you, of where we didn't really know that this was kind of a Wii as well. And then just January, they're like, here's our big thing. And then they're like, oh, by the way, ice cubes. And then, oh, let's turn the Wiimote. Let's pretend we're eating a sandwich. There's like all this wacky stuff.
And again, if I'd thought about it, I would have totally assumed it because, as I've mentioned before, historically, the GBA was a portable, or whatever. Let's say the Game Boy Color was a portable NES. The GBA was a portable Super NES. Yeah. You follow that line along, the next handheld should have been a portable Wii.
Yeah.
So here it is.
Turns out it's a portable Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Wii.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the control scheme.
Pretty much, minus the second screen, it is exactly a portable Wii U.
But the fact that they built that much crap into the Joy-Con, we're going to see stuff using the Joy-Con in these weird, wacky ways throughout the life of the system, no matter what.
And right, the next topic is, of course, longer gameplay with a single software title, which are definitely talking about DLC, and more DLC.
Okay, so let's see. Let's look at the DLC they're talking about here.
Let's say you've got all the 800 moons. So.
Zelda. Well, starting just with Zelda. Yeah. Zelda, you've got right. You got 2 DLCs. They're 1 for 2. Because the first DLC was pretty half-assed for a season pass, paid for 2 DLC packages. Second one was all right. Second one was legitimate. If the first one had been more like the second one, I wouldn't be complaining. I would say, okay, that's reasonable DLC.
The second one was more of the game. It was like that's what I wanted. Just more things to do in the game that I enjoyed anyway. Some new stuff to do in the game like that.
Yeah. Exactly. If you finished Zelda and everything you liked about it, and you just want a little more, that's exactly
what you like.
Yeah. That's exactly what DLC 2 was, and it was great. And I wish DLC 1 had just been that same idea.
It's like a torture mini game.
It sucks, man. It's I don't know. I guess they decided, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is popular. What's the closest we can come up with in a single player game? Oh, let's just put them in this endless torturous gauntlet of crap.
It's a badge of honor though for people to be like, hey, I've completed this.
Sure, yeah.
I've been to Nam. But yeah.
So that's Zelda. What's the second one? I don't even know what that is.
It looks like Splatoon. The second one is Splatoon, right?
It is Splatoon.
Maybe.
But the Splatoon is also the one.
Splatoon on ice.
Is that like the aquarium
at the end? I don't know.
It could be a Japanese game. I don't know. I can't really tell. But we know Xenoblade's got some stuff.
Okay, so we know Xenoblade. Like, here's the thing about Xenoblade is I don't know how many hours of cutscenes there are, but I'm sure there's like 12 or something, at least, probably more.
Out of the games that don't need a extra DLC, is Xenoblade is one of those.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, it's already a long thing.
But we kind of skipped Splatoon. I was going to say, how many hours we all put into Splatoon? I think I'm at 95.
Yeah,
but that's because I had a new baby. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think I'm over 400 maybe.
Yeah, what are you at, Jason?
I'm over 400 as well. I've got to be getting close to 5.
So I'm only a quarter. I'm surprised that I'm actually even a quarter of what you guys are at. To be honest, I didn't think I'd do that well. How about you, Max? You're not as hardcore, I know, as we are.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Jason and Mo are.
She plays quite a bit, though. And it's one of those things where I don't play it every day for sure. Just every now and then I'll pick it up. And
for me, it's just the Splatfests these days. Yeah. I try to go in.
It's almost like a mobile app. It's like with the mobile apps where you'll boot them up for little special event crap. It's like, go in for a Splatfest. It's a new month. Got to get that new gear at the Grizzco.
You guys do that. Like I don't bother with the I don't know, man. Somehow the Grizzco just never grabbed me. But that said, it's right. It's a world like Zelda. It's a world I like to go back to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is, and like what they're saying here, I agree. They're both games that give me more Zelda DLC. I will go back to Zelda. Splatoon, as long as they keep dropping new maps or hell, just the old maps from the first game, I'll go back to Splatoon.
It's one of those ones that has a lot of replayability, just like sports games do, where it's every game's a little different, and that's enough to kind of keep you interested in it.
Well, there's something. There's a social aspect of playing a co-op game, even if it's 100% strangers. Like even if I'm not playing with you guys, there's just and it's something that I always, I guess it started with WoW. I don't even start with WoW. It's like I want a social environment to go into. And like to some degree or other, there's like, a chat with you guys or whatever, but it's like WoW, it was like at any time, day or night, I could log into a world where there were lots of people running around, and you know what I mean? It was an immediate social environment, and it immediately was like the online equivalent of, living in the city or you know what I mean, going down to a busy plaza or whatever and just being with the people. And there's like Zelda is a world I want to go back to. Splatoon's really the closest thing I have to that on Switch and even on the Wii U now that Miiverse is gone. Right? It's so there. I'll go back to those worlds, but I really do wish it's high time for Nintendo persistent world thing. Like everybody's done it now. It's time. Nintendo needs to do a persistent world of some kind.
Yeah, eventually they will. Like
but I'm
jumping Mario MMO.
I know, or Zelda MMO. I really think Breath of the World should be an MMO.
But
okay,
Splatoon's done a good job of dropping, DLC. And another aspect that I don't know if I've considered much with DLC, having regular DLC for something like Splatoon also means there's basically advertisements that they're not paying for on all these video game sites to say, hey, there's a new Splatfest, or hey, there's a new weapon dropping in Splatoon.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
It keeps
every couple weeks you're seeing that name going in the news.
Yeah, on the sites, even if you're not paying attention, there's a headline goes by Splatoon.
So
that's true.
That's something about their constant updates, but yeah.
Now Odyssey, how many hours have you put into Odyssey, Mo?
Well, if you
got 500 moons?
No, or 500 moons? Yeah. I thought you were gonna say hours. I was like, no. Yeah, I have 666 moons, in fact. right now. I've put some hours. I did leave my Switch on all night so I could get a bunch of jump ropes. I still didn't end up going to 99999, but I stopped. I've stopped at over 99,000 jumps though. I stopped about 4 minutes early of the max just to be silly. Just to be silly. Just to be like, I'm not number one. I'm tied for like 500th place.
You're so weird.
I know. But yeah, so that took 16 hours to do, but I have 60 hours. But I have 60 hours into Odyssey. So you really 16 hours.
54.
Yeah, but I went back into it just because I've kind of got a little burned down on Rocket League after putting 500 hours into it.
Yeah.
Which I guarantee I'll pick it right back up because the new competitive season starts tomorrow. So or started yesterday if you're listening to this.
So you're not burned out. You just took a break.
Yeah, I'm just taking a little break. It's one of those things where I've reached the point where I don't have to play it every day all the time for 10 or 20 hours a day. So I've been peppering that in with my Monopoly and stuff, and just kind of going through. And the thing is, I played Super Mario Odyssey very minimally the first time around, so I just kind of did the bare minimum of moons to get through the levels and kind of continue the game. So now it's like you go in and there's just moons everywhere. I'm like, I guess I'll do this. Which it's basically a collection of mini games, kind of, because a lot of them are just broken into like these little challenges. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's been okay. It's been enjoyable. I don't know that if you were someone who was really done with the game, I don't know that the balloon world's gonna really bring you back. Like I feel like especially right now, if you've got everything and every moon and all that stuff in the game, like you're probably really sick of that game.
Okay,
and so done with it.
Yeah, I'm finally getting back to Mario a little bit and putting more time in. Finally got to New Donk City, but
Oh yeah,
here and there. Okay, so who else has put substantial? Anybody else put substantial time into Mario?
I have 4 hours.
Kind of.
You have 4 hours, Max?
Yeah. That game just drives me crazy.
I'm not much further than you. I'm at like 7 or 8 probably. Sorry, Jason.
I was going to say that's like a quarter of the way through though, because I think I finished around 19 or 20 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
Where is New Donk City? How far is that in the game?
It's like halfway, or maybe a little bit further than halfway.
A little past.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't feel like halfway.
Yeah, I mean, you can get through it if you're just doing minimal moons and not exploring a ton. Like you can get through it pretty quick.
Well, that's disappointing. I mean, like that means in terms of just contiguous world space, it's utterly dwarfed by Zelda.
Oh
yeah. It's definitely not the big sand. Like everyone was kind of using this term sandbox Mario, and it's a bucket of sand. It's one of those things that you see outside of the restaurants with the sand for people to put their cigarettes in. It's like one of those compared to Breath of the Wild. It's a sand bucket.
Breath of the Wild is a beach. Yeah. Then each world in Mario is a
sandbox. Yeah,
sandbox.
It's true. But it's still. I mean, there's plenty of stuff, and they've got little things hidden, and there's a lot of a lot of the moons are just like, oh, hey, something glowing on top of this building. Let's jump up there and do a ground pound.
They're like
Korok
seeds.
Yeah. So there's a mix of those and like little mini games, but it's good enough.
It is. It's like the 1,000 Korok seeds, but in Mario, in a bunch of little mini Mario worlds, as opposed to one giant. Why didn't they just make a giant open world Mario?
That's a lot of. I don't know. It's a lot of development because they had 4 or 5 years to make Zelda. I don't know how long they've been working on Odyssey. Do you think Odyssey started as a Wii U title initially?
It could have.
I think it's possible because as much as people like 3D World, and they did, there was a vocal maybe probably minority, but there was a vocal group of people complaining this is not really a real successor to Super Mario 64,
yeah,
and Sunshine, and like it's more a successor to Galaxy. Galaxy was more like the linear Mario kind of world. Well, yeah. I think of Galaxy and 3D World and 3D Land.
3D World's very kind of very linear. So yeah, I don't know. I think Odyssey is a good game, but with the Balloon World, like for the people who do like the racing, have you run into any of those racing mini games yet, where they want you to like race in a level from one part to another, and then there's like a little leaderboard, New Donk City has the jump rope thing where you see how many times you can jump the rope, and there's like a leaderboard. Like there's certain people who are going to do those that are interested in the online leaderboard thing, and those are the people who are going to be doing the Balloon World stuff. I'll probably play it a couple times and then be done with it.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
What they should do is add another world or two to Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, those would be like if they had now. Okay, let's say, would we want paid DLC for Odyssey? I don't know if I would. I kind of like keeping Mario pure. I kind of like the idea of keeping Mario
throw it on,
since it's the kids' game. You know.
Well, they dirtied up Breath of the Wild with DLC, so they might as well just go all in.
They did, but Breath of the Wild was the more grown-up title. And again, okay, so let's backtrack. Okay, let's move on from Odyssey. I'm wondering why we're talking about Splatoon again.
Splatoon.
Well, because it's in the slide. Yeah.
On the side here, it says downloadable content and events.
No.
So I'm assuming this is talking about DLC, the first one, and the second one's for Splatfest.
Oh,
it kind of makes
sense. This is how they're going to keep you playing the games that you already bought with events. And ARMS has those little events too, which somebody in Europe was complaining that the ARMS events are always timed with the Splatfests. So they have to choose whether they want to play the ARMS event or the Splatfest. Which is kind of dumb.
No, they tout the last DLC character for ARMS and they say version 5.
Yeah.
So I guess they've upped an entire version every time they release a new character.
Yeah. And here they're just showing these are the games that they've either had DLC in or have done events and stuff. So anyway, let's go to the next slide.
I realize they left ARM out to die. Oh yeah, that's the big news.
Boom.
September 2018. Nintendo Online is coming.
Only a year after they said it would, and only a year and a half after the console launched.
Yeah, a year and a half.
It's going to have ways to further heighten the gaming experience. And
oh my god, I can't wait.
And it's what they have listed it elsewhere. It's going to have attractive service menus. That's going to be the heightened gaming experience. Attractive service menus.
Finally.
If you pay, that's what they should do. They should make it so, like, part of the online is being able to like put crap into folders and have backgrounds and stuff.
You can change.
Just make all the pretty. Yeah, just make all the pretty. Like, if you want your eShop to like be like have it be 2 eShops, where the eShop you have now is that's the free eShop. If you want the good looking eShop,
if you want an eShop online, you can actually find shit in.
Yeah. Attractive.
Well, this one will be all organized.
Yeah. Service menus.
Which they could do. I could see the backlash now. But I'm pretty sure anyone who owns a Switch, 99% are going to adopt this online service.
Yeah, if you're regularly playing the game, in this system.
I think by the time this comes out, there will be a percentage of Switches gathering dust somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a percentage of Switches gathering dust right now.
But the online will make it more attractive too.
Yeah. Plus, you'll have all these new games to play all the time with the
cardboard.
Well, no, I mean like the Super Mario Brothers 3. and Dr. Mario and Balloon Fight.
If they still bring that to us.
Yeah, I bet they will. But I still wonder, is E3 going to be the time when they finally give us some more details? I think there was something in this press conference too where it said like more information will be made available as details are finalized or something like that.
Yeah, it's just slated for.
Yeah,
slated to
just
begin.
slated. Not
it isn't saying it will begin. Wow.
Yeah. As far as we know, this is probably when it's going on. But yeah, I think investors probably, this is probably one of the more exciting things to them because they want to know when are they going to get 17 million times $20.
Well, exciting to them, like would be if it were coming soon. This is still very far out after a year delay.
Yeah.
So I think they might be skeptical that it's gonna, launch on time on this time schedule, and that it's gonna be, not fraught with problems or something. Like, what's taking them so long?
Yeah, it'll be September 30th.
Like,
that's what I'm guessing.
Like,
if it comes out, then
it doesn't take a year and a half. Like we've seen Japan, right? We've seen them repair a sinkhole in under like a giant, like, half a city block size sinkhole in like 24 hours or something stupid. Like, why is it taking them a year and a half to drop some servers in a data center and fire it up? This should not be you know what I mean? That should be a 3 to 6 month operation.
They've already got the servers. I mean, it's the Switch is online. They just are probably trying to figure out what they want to do with the service and what kind of unique things. Maybe they'll offer like I said, I want to see Switch rewards include the ability to download Netflix.
Yes. Definitely. Or web browser.
I would pay so many platinum coins to be able to download it.
It's 50 gold coins for the Nintendo web browser. I almost wonder if that'll be part of the online service, like if it'll launch at the same time. Because the other big thing is, since we know September 2018, that gives them a window, which means they've got to have some big online title that they're going to have to launch with the online, because that just makes sense.
Yeah.
So, is that when we're going to get Smash?
Or shortly after. Maybe
or
for
something
Christmas.
like that. There has to be, because they're not going to just say you can play the existing crap that you've already had. They're going to try to promote this somehow. Yeah. So there has to be some big online thing coming around that time.
Themes. There we go.
I don't know. The only major drop they have officially announced coming in the future is Prime 4, right? There's nothing else.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that. Just a couple of slides away. We're going to be talking about what their software lineup is, and that is not mentioned.
So, that's true. But we know it's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
But obviously not for this year.
I would doubt it. I bet you we're going to see something at E3. At least we might have worked our way up to some concept art by E3.
A trailer. There we get a trailer.
Oh, I don't know about a trailer. Maybe.
Nintendo, it's not out of the ordinary for Nintendo to go like at an E3 or 2 with just not a peep about a major known to be coming game.
They've been so zany the last couple E3s that I really don't know what to expect this year. Like last year, when they said 25 minutes, like that was almost worse than the previous year where they said they were only going to be showing one game. So yeah, I don't know, but I think this year they're going to have to go hard. We'll see what they do.
All right,
cardboard.
Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling here. So we're going to break into next the new forms of play. And of course, that is Nintendo Labo.
Yep. We covered that one pretty well.
Yeah, I think we got that one. It's going to endear itself to an even broader range of consumers. I'm sorry, I love these quotes in here.
That it will.
That I can hear in Reggie's voice. I just need him there to...
Like you said, I think the word Labo equates to the word Lego, and in somebody's mind at Nintendo, and they probably think this is kind of like one of those things where make, play, discover.
Yeah, you're right. I can totally hear Reggie's voice.
Yeah.
Like,
we need something like Lego.
Quotes.
How about Legos?
I mean, we're getting positive reactions from all over the world.
Yeah. You're going to hear the whole unlock your imagination and blah, blah.
This is a legitimate building experience. Sorry.
I mean, folding.
Yeah. Folding. The definitive folding experience. Yeah.
Like everything else, it at least I think of everything Nintendo does now as marketing. Like, this is just another thing. This might just be another way to get them in the news. They're like, how much does a good ad campaign cost? And they're like, okay, how much does just a bunch of cardboard cost? Like, let's just roll out a bunch of cardboard and people will be so perplexed they'll have to advertise for us for free.
I would love to hear about the creators of this and how they came up with the idea of to use cardboard in a video game experience. Because I have a feeling it's something hilarious.
Yeah.
Hopefully hopefully at E3 they'll do one of those. This would be one of those creator spotlights I'd actually be interested in watching.
Well, I will say this: there is porn for Google Cardboard, so all bets are off.
You think that's where it started?
What, Nintendo? I think people at Nintendo looking at porn on Google Cardboard.
Yeah,
and thinking, hey.
They were making their cardboard vibrate, and then it started moving, and then and they were like, "Hey."
They're like, you know what would go great with VR cardboard porn would be a VR cardboard masturbation device.
I like that one drawing.
Again,
exactly.
Only on Nintendo Open Air Podcast do we give you this kind of coverage. If you listen to other podcasts and this topic comes up, write in, let us know.
I can say, I can say. I mean, I don't listen to a ton of podcasts.
And if you bought Just Dance, I
will say I don't listen to a ton of podcasts, but I don't know. I can't think of one that would have crossover between Nintendo and VR porn.
This won't be on the Nintendo Power podcast?
Treehouse?
No.
We'll see. Yeah. Treehouse hands on. the Nintendo Minute.
Okay, let's pull this back.
New way to play.
All right. Future software.
But honestly, somebody probably saw Google Cardboard and said, "Hey, that looks pretty cheap. What could we do with cardboard?" That's probably how that.
Yeah, I'm sure they. Right. Nintendo's whole mindset has always been: we take cheap old electronics or whatever and figure out how to make money off them, like the Game Boy with its crappy black and white screen, or those Game & Watches. Man, when those came out, like, there were already way better games, like, handheld electronic game units out. But they were cute and they were cheap. So it's the same. It's when they saw, I'm sure somebody over there, when they saw that, they're like, dude, we should have done something like that. This is genius. I'm sure there was multiple people over at Nintendo that were like, immediately thought, what a great idea. That's because it's totally in their wheelhouse.
Yeah. Anyway, roll the slide. Roll that beautiful beam footage.
Future software lineup. And this is what I call the Big Six.
Isn't that what everyone calls it? We totally forgot about Bayonetta.
So
we're saved.
Can I give my quick 2 cents on these?
Go ahead.
So it's an old port, crap, weird, an old port, crap, and who cares?
That is the year.
Yeah, that's Bayo, Kirby, Labo, DK, Tennis, and Yoshi.
Yeah.
It's
smart. I can't hate on them for doing ports. Like I said, it's a smart way to make money off of games that are already designed and made and stuff. And people who there were a lot of. I think Bayonetta 2 is one of those that appeals to adult people, and there were a lot of people that didn't have a Wii U. They were like, "Oh, I'd love to play Bayonetta 2 if it was on something else." Because
that was definitely something I saw on a lot of the news sites comment sections. Was people complaining that it was a Wii U exclusive and they wouldn't get to play it.
Yeah, because Bayonetta 1 was out for other, I think Xbox and PlayStation or one of the other.
It was originally Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
I played that one on Xbox.
Oh, you actually played the OG on Xbox?
Yep. And then I bought it for Wii U.
You double dipped on OG Bayo. Wow.
And that she'll triple dip on the Japanese one with stickers.
But she got it with Bayonetta 2 because you got the bundle, so it's sort of
that wasn't.
You would have got it anyway. Yeah.
I think they're going to do ports. They should be a little cheaper.
Definitely.
I agree.
It'd be nice.
Hopefully they. Well, we'll see. Because they'll bundle the two of them probably for $50, and then it's.
I did see a little news story today saying that Bayonetta 2 runs better on the Switch in portable mode, handheld mode, than it does on the Wii U.
Well,
so
I wouldn't be surprised because was the Wii U running at 720 or was it running higher?
I think it ran at 720.
Yeah,
well maybe. Still, I don't remember. The Switch, either way, yeah.
The Switch is already demonstrably more powerful than the Wii U was by a few devs who've like Fast Racing Neo is a good straight across port, and they were able to get higher resolutions and better frame rates and better draw, like everything across the board.
Well, it's nice that it's not, at least it's not a lazy port. Like at least they're not copying and pasting. And
obviously those guys were doing their homework, and they seem like they were pretty tight with Nintendo, so they probably got good access, early dev kits and whatever. But but point being, of these 6 titles, 2 and I think most of us already have Bayo 2 and DK. Is that correct?
I have neither.
I have neither.
Oh, really?
I don't.
But I also won't pick them up this time either.
Wait, whoa. Backtrack. So wait, Max, you don't have Donkey Kong?
No.
You have Bayo?
No.
Wait.
Oh, no.
But you said you got it on Wii U.
You mean yes?
I got it on Wii U. Yes.
Okay. No. That's what I mean.
Overall,
Tropical Freeze on Wii U. Okay, well, I bought both of those. Mario Tennis Aces, I could care less. Kirby Star Allies, I could care less. You guys agree, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yoshi, do we agree? Well, I like the cardboard Yoshi. I'll pick it up. I
don't know. It'll depend on.
But I'm not excited about it, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll pick it up. It'll be fun. I'll play with the wife co-op, and we'll have a good time. It's cute. The kid can watch, whatever. But I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not fired up about it.
I mean, Yoshi's definitely in that Kirby kind of second tier title thing where I don't know that there's anybody that's just like, I only buy Nintendo stuff for Yoshi.
Well, but again, every one of these we're looking at is second tier.
Right.
Count Labo however you want, but the other, well,
just top of the food chain, baby.
Well, no, Bayonetta 2 was first tier, but is now a re-release, second tier. So all of these, and Mario Tennis, second tier. All of these are second tier. There is no first tier title in this big. These are the big titles we got coming out list.
This is essentially the first 6 months of the year. I mean, it goes through May and spring here, so I don't think we're going to see anything different.
Coming out sometime. Yeah, this is the lineup to E3, I think.
Yep,
and it's pretty sad. This feels like a Wii U lineup.
Yeah, it's not impressive.
I mean, it is 2 of them.
Although sadly, it's stronger than a Wii U lineup.
Yeah,
but just because they're all so close together.
No, not really necessarily. Mario Tennis and Yoshi are vague. So I won't count those. And Labo, let's not count Labo because Labo's
new.
weird.
It's an
Labo's
experiment.
Labo's an experiment. Labo's not really just a game in the traditional sense.
To me, that's almost like if you put an amiibo there and said, that will be our launch for April.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. There's a big bunch of amiibos launching in April. But okay, like to me, this is slightly better. This is like what would have come out over the course of a year for the Wii U. Maybe.
Yeah.
And here it's like maybe a 6-month time frame if you're counting Yoshi or not,
Like you said, they can't do all their best titles, the best software all in the first year or two, and then have nothing left for the rest of the.
But we should have.
The system
we should have one.
Yeah, we should have something that's big to look forward to.
We should have I think we should have. We got Metroid right now is the only one that's a real big title to look forward to. Everyone knows Smash is coming out, but again, those of us that care bought it on Wii U, and those of us that don't are probably not going to buy it again. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed off, but I'm going to double dip. Because I know I'll pay full price or something comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pikmin 4. Okay, is Pikmin 4 first tier?
It's probably second tier. I mean, I love it, but
I mean, for certain people, I know it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's and for a lot of these second tier titles, that's the case. But yeah,
sadly, it might even be third tier underneath Yoshi. But I love it.
I don't know.
Same. If Pikmin was listed here instead of Yoshi or just in the mix, I'd be pretty excited. I'd be counting down the days.
Yeah. I think Pikmin 3 was so good that people are waiting for it.
Yeah.
I would be. Here's the thing. I didn't play a lot of Pikmin 3. I liked it, but somehow it was just a little slow for me, I think. But that said, as a portable game, I think I would be way more inclined. And right, there are certain games I'm more inclined to play portable, and certain games I'm more inclined to play docks, since I do go back and forth. That one is one I would think I would be more inclined to play portable, especially if, as you've mentioned before, the touchscreen
controls, amazing.
So that would be if they made that and made it portable with touchscreen capability, or you can play it on the big screen without it.
I would play it portable over docked if it had touchscreen controls. But yeah, that's another one that I wouldn't mind seeing on port. But like I said, the longer it goes, I almost wonder. I don't know. Maybe they'll do. They did announce Bayonetta 3. We know that's coming too. So maybe at some point they'll announce at E3 that Pikmin 3 is coming as a port, and then Pikmin 4 next year or something.
Okay, yeah. Bayo 3 is the only big third-party AAA title I can think of that's on the horizon. And Dark Souls. Yeah, I forgot. Besides Dark Souls, but again, I feel like there should be a huge flood of AAA titles. If the ones in November did well, there should have been more in the pipe already.
Well, we know
Wolfenstein announcements at least. Yeah, Wolfenstein. When is that coming out again?
TBD.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think we had a hard date. I think we had sometime in 2018.
I had it for some reason. I had this feeling that it was going to be coming early 2018, and I don't know if they had said that, but
I think
ever since then we haven't heard anything.
First or second quarter. But ever since the initial announce, we've heard not a peep. And you would have thought, again, especially if Doom had done really well, they would have said, "Hey, Doom did great." Like certain companies have touted their numbers as selling great on Switch. They haven't touted anything. I don't know if they normally do though.
I think about LA Noire too.
October 27th. Oh, sorry.
October 27th? Was that
2017?
Oh, wait, what?
Never mind. Edit that.
That's when Super Mario came out, yeah?
Yeah. I looked up Wolfenstein too, and that's what it says.
So I guess
it did.
So it must not be for Switch.
It came out on other consoles the same day that Super Mario came out on Switch. They must have, Google screwed up on you there.
Yeah. I sure did.
Shame on you, Google. But we still love you because we're recording this on Google. So I think we should move on here before we get too bogged down. The next one is just talking about kind of what we've already went over, which is early adoption for software titles from other publishers. And I mean, I think we covered almost all of them that are out here.
Look at that beautiful box art with the SD card.
Wait a minute. What does early and full adoption for software titles from other publishers mean?
Well, more than 300 software titles are already available for Nintendo Switch from other software publishers. Early participation of many publishers has led to the release of software titles in a wide variety of genres.
Okay, so scroll back. So early adoption, sure. What do they mean by full exactly? To me, GTA 5 would be full. Or
maybe they're just
mentioned shooters.
Maybe they're saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with that.
I don't know.
Because is there anyone there that has more than one game? Any company?
2K, I guess, and Bethesda, I guess. They don't show Doom, but maybe that's because it's not family friendly.
Perhaps.
I doubt it. Yeah, I mean,
they do show Monster Hunter XX there, though.
And so, is the only thing we're getting
from Square
Enix that 8-bit thing?
No, I think Square's had some other stuff.
Like, where's the Final Fantasy?
There isn't one.
I'm also wondering if Monster Hunter Double Cross will get released in the U.S. now, based on the fact that there's some buzz around Monster Hunter World.
It would be nice. That'd be a huge selling point.
They might not want to bring out a lesser Monster Hunter, though. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to look like the Wii or the 3DS, where it's the half-assed version.
I don't know if it is.
Well, it's not
a full-on Monster Hunter.
Yeah, but it's not Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
it's not the most
that's
current
true.
one.
That's true. I mean? And Capcom might not want to do that just to avoid market confusion.
Well, that too, but it also, like, to me, I think Nintendo, I would hope they're trying to avoid that whole thing of being that console that doesn't have real versions of games.
Yeah, probably.
And since we're talking about games that aren't released here, the Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, as far as I know, there's no localization plans for that. Although I have played the Japanese demo, so it's a pretty good game. I would buy it if it came to the US, probably.
Yeah, I would buy it.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Builders has been your gateway drug to Dragon Quest World.
Yeah, pretty tempting.
You know, I'm. Your interest in it has kind of sparked my interest. I don't think I'll pick it up, but I'm curious and
try the demo.
There's a demo. Max liked the demo too.
Several hours, and there's no time limit.
There's a lot of there's a lot of text in the beginning, but get through that. There's some good writing there, and play it. I mean,
I'm in.
That's what it's there
for. I definitely recommend a demo. It's a really good demo.
Yep.
If only there had been an ARMS demo. Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying it.
Not to be
that's right. I forgot. You're as a late adopter, you really haven't had a chance. Well, maybe they've done a test punch at some point. Maybe
probably not.
Nope.
They had one later in the year, but now they're probably done doing test punches on it. So yeah, they're leaving it to die. But sad about.
How are chests $12?
What?
Nothing. I'm just ranting because I just logged into the stupid eShop.
But here's some titles that have sold like gangbusters.
That's right. These are more from, I guess you would say, indie titles.
I love that they put Othello on there.
Yeah.
That's an odd choice.
Because it belongs on the same page as Sonic Mania and Shovel Knight and Stardew Valley.
But it also
Steamworld did
like
too.
right, if they have things like Othello on there, like they're grasping.
Well,
Yeah.
Othello though isn't that
And
basically
Pip Drop.
Go in Japan? It's Go.
Yeah.
So Go is big, but yeah, but I would say
Othello
almost
is Go. I thought Go was
Yeah, I
more
think so.
complicated.
Go is it's a simpler version of
simpler
Go.
version.
Go's
Yeah.
pretty fun to play.
But these titles
Something
are
that's
nice
confusing.
because I would say every single one of us, and probably everyone on the podcast that's ever done the podcast, has had at least one of these titles here.
Yep.
For the most part.
Steamworld Dig 2, that was one I was really excited about.
Yep. And
I don't know anybody that plays Rocket League though.
no, a couple of us picked it up. Shovel Knight, everybody's had probably.
Yep.
Sonic Mania's good. Max got Stardew.
Yep.
Minecraft,
these are-
the ever present.
Oh yeah, and it's still it's forever been in the top 10 bestsellers in the eShop, so it gets picked up all the time apparently.
Overcooked is there too.
Overcooked, the surprise that's I think it's currently sitting at number 2 in the bestsellers, continues to wow me. Like I said, if I thought that there was any kind of satisfaction to be had as a single player from that game,
Yeah.
I might be tempted to look at it when it goes on sale again.
I'd be
Because
more
obviously
interested.
there's some sort of magic going on there.
I think it's because it's 2-player co-op.
Yeah, that's probably, they say I'll pick it up just like I kind of did with Monopoly. I'll pick it up in case I've got someone to play with. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I thought with Uno too. Like I'm just too lazy to deal with the boxes and the decks of cards and shuffling and all that crap. I'm just like, I could throw Uno up in tabletop mode and we could just play a quick game like that and not have to worry about cheating or
Yeah.
shuffling or putting it away.
So on Uno, you can play on one console multiplayer.
Yeah.
Local.
Yeah, I believe so. I could share the joy.
Yeah, see, I didn't even think about that.
And with
That's
Monopoly, you
much
can do that
better-
too.
That's a much better selling point.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
for me as well.
Yeah.
You don't have any pieces to
Yeah.
lose, hopefully.
And
Right,
I guess I should have assumed that, because really that to me I thought about that, like for chess and stuff. I hope I can just set this thing down on a table and
You can. It does have touch. I believe, that chess game, which I will get that chess game eventually. What is it? Chess Unlimited Chess? something.
once it drops below $10, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I will too.
We already got the Easter Island set for the free deal.
Right. Well, I bought Pure Chess on Wii U and on 3DS. I double dipped on it. So it's hard for me to commit another $12 on another chess game that I'll play the few times a year that I'm like, hey, I feel like playing some chess. But I have no doubt it's a great game. But
All
there
right.
are some other
Only
publisher
play
titles
one.
to be released moving forward.
Yep, moving forward.
There's that
There's
sweet
our buddy.
Arena of Valor.
Yep, we get Wolfenstein 2 listed here. Dragon
Yeah,
Quest
Arena of
VI.
Valor keeps getting pushed back.
It's on mobile though, and Z's most anticipated title.
Right here. Morphe's Law.
Morphe's Law. Well, it seemed cool, but again, if it's more than $20, it won't be cool. Payday
Yeah.
2, who cares? That's an old port.
Fantasy Star Online, I think we talked about that. It was kind of a odd choice.
Yeah. And I'll be interested to see what kind of business Ease 3 does.
Yeah.
I
think I'll have a
or
very-
Ease not 3, 8 or 7. Wait, what is it?
8.
8.
I think I'll have a very niche group of people that'll be into that.
Yeah.
What is that Zelda DX?
That's Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule
Hyrule
Warriors.
Warriors. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I myself am super psyched at the Gundam Genesis here. I would love that. We get
Yeah,
There's something for everybody.
That's not
I
going
have-
to be.
that
That won't be coming out here, though, right? That's not.
No.
Gonna go.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's not? I thought it was.
No, it's just confirmed from Japan and I doubt it will come here.
You gonna buy it anyway?
If
Your
I could
first
get English on
Japanese
it,
purchase?
if I could get English
I'm sure it will.
subtitles to it and stuff, I would.
I'm sure it will. And then,
there's
something here for everybody.
Yeah, there's a good mix.
Rockman 11. Can't wait to see how far Street Fighter drops once this one comes out.
Yeah.
How much the existing one, because Street Fighter 4 was, I think, a launch title for 3DS, and it's like routinely been like $4 or $5 in the eShop multiple times for the 3DS. So.
I don't think I've ever seen it $4, but $5 I've seen.
Yeah. So when the other Street Fighter drops, I might pick it up. Maybe.
I won't bother with that first one. I won't bother with that one.
Second one seems like the way to go.
It's a Street Fighter 2 remake. This one is the way to go. But then
this one is 6 Street Fighter 2 remakes. Oh.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it also has the original. Here's the thing. I think it'll be fun to have the original Street Fighter. I think I played a ROM of it once, and it is crap. It's terrible.
I had it on Commodore 64. I remember seeing that, and when Street Fighter 2 came out, I was like, "Whoa, they made another one!" and then it turned into whatever it turned into.
Yeah, why would they have made another one?
Yeah, but I remember playing the original. I'm one of those few people that is old enough and somehow lucky enough to have played Street Fighter 1 before I played Street Fighter 2, and didn't think it warranted a sequel. How wrong I was.
This is looking pretty slim pickings here. That top row is big, but is that Dragon Quest coming out here?
Dragon Quest 11. Yeah. I don't know if that's...
And Dragon Quest Builders is there too. So we know that's coming.
Builders is coming out this in a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it this week?
But right, it's just... This is not like... Where are the AAA titles? There's a few.
I should mention here, this is My Hero Academia, and this is Attack on Titan. Those are anime games, so not usually known for quality.
They have Travis Strikes Again. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I wonder how long out that one's gonna be.
But those are not really even. Those are like third tier.
Yeah.
Rockman 11. Okay, cool. But it's I don't know, man. It feels like the Wii U to me. The Wii U launched with all sorts of third-party ports. Remember?
I will say this list is better than anything on the Wii U ever got.
I agree.
As far as to look forward to, it's not the greatest thing in the world.
I disagree. I think at least as far as, 'cause remember, the Wii U launched with a lot of stuff out of the gate. So at least for me, when they all dropped to cheap on Amazon, there were a lot of games like I picked up one of the Mass Effects. I picked up one of the Deus Exes. I picked up some James Bond shooter that was pretty cool. Like, you know what I mean? I was shocked at how much stuff kind of snuck in under the radar, either at launch or just over the course of the life of the Wii U, that I didn't realize it'd come out.
Yeah.
So I mean, there were times where where I looked at the Wii U's catalog and thought, hey, there's not too terrible. There's some stuff here. And I feel roughly the same way about this list right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't feel
they've got
like
it's a broad spectrum of software, though, and some of that will appeal. At least one of those titles will appeal to everyone here, and that's all they really need is
But again, that's going to be my question. Out of just this infographic of what we see here, how many titles do you see that you would be interested in purchasing?
Arena of Valor is free to play, so
I mean, possibly 2 or 3.
Count. Morphe's Law, and maybe Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Wolfenstein 2.
And not at launch. I won't pay $60.
Maybe Street Fighter. Yeah.
I won't pay $60 for Wolfenstein 2.
Oh yeah, and I forgot Street Fighter. But again,
Yeah.
none of these. Morphe's Law, if it launches at a reasonable price, I will pay full price for it. But Street Fighter and Wolfenstein, I know will launch at a price higher than I want to pay, and I will wait.
Right. Yeah, I will too. I think Doom, I'm glad to have gotten out of the way, but Wolfenstein, I think I'll wait on.
Yeah.
Max, how about you?
Dragon Quest things, possibly My Hero and Attack on Titan, and Travis Strikes Again. Maybe Morphe's if you guys buy it. It looks like that could be fun.
That's one of those. Yeah, that is one of those ones that it's going to really kind of depend. Like if I'm the only guy buying it, it's going to kind of suck.
If it's a reasonable enough price, I'll pick it up as well.
Yeah, that would be the fun.
I hope it's $20. Everyone would be on board for $20.
Oh yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Probably 42.
As long as it doesn't come out, like right on top of some other major release.
Oh yeah.
Not that there is really a major release.
There don't seem to be any. But then we also don't know, that one got pushed to when now? Didn't they say June or what? Or were they vague?
I don't even know if they've said.
It was spring or summer.
Oh yeah, spring or summer. So I would guess
things happen
based on that. Yeah.
See, it's like I'm still perplexed over this whole Pocket Rumble thing being shown as a launch title and then still hasn't come out, and apparently it's the online they're having trouble with. So the fact that Morphe's Law has kind of been pushing around and it's a heavy online game, I'm wondering if maybe people have trouble with some of the online stuff. Although Rocket League didn't seem to have trouble with it.
Same with Arena of Valor.
Yeah,
is an online.
Yeah, that's true.
Player.
Yeah,
a MOBA or whatever they call it.
So maybe there's something up with Nintendo's online
that might
smaller publishers have trouble with.
Or even larger publishers like Ubisoft, perhaps.
Yeah, that's all on them. It's got to be.
I would be inclined to blame Ubi, but I don't know. Maybe it is something where the online. Well, how about this? This may very well have something to do with it. If the online infrastructure isn't there, they have to provide it themselves. And for large companies, this is I'm guessing.
That's true too, because Rocket League's using Rocket League servers.
Yeah, because Rocket League already has its own infrastructure from PC and everywhere else. So for larger things like that, they can do it. But anybody who's kind of a smaller developer and is dependent on the platform to provide the online, that could very well be why a bunch of these are slipping.
We'll see.
They're just waiting on Nintendo.
Good stuff.
All right. We've still got some pretty big topics here that we want to talk through.
Let's keep it moving.
Nintendo 3DS. Unfortunately, Eric is not here because I know this was probably the most exciting thing for him. We've got some sell-through numbers here, which surprisingly, compared to the last 3 years,
it's right up there.
It's nuts. Like 2015 and 2016, it's so funny that they ended up basically doing the exact same.
Does this mean week one it nose bombs every year, and then because every single chart is a upward path? So,
because it's just they start at zero again for the first of the year, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Otherwise, the graph would be, you couldn't compare the numbers, but
I'd say some of those are around Pokemon releases, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some. Although around, what was that, week 28?
Well, these
maybe
are
that's
Christmas,
a little Metroid bump. Oh,
right? Aren't these are just Christmas numbers?
It's got to be a Metroid bump, week 30.
Oh. This is year to year. Yeah, it was totally Metroid. Yeah, because this is just year to year, and and we decided 2015. That's because that's when they released the new 3DS, around February of that year, end of January, or whenever.
Although 2016 did that's right, the early year one. Yeah,
that early year bump.
But still, I think
Christmas.
I think this is probably the most surprising thing out of the entire press conferences or whatever it is. Presentation presentation is as underwhelming as it is. I don't know that any of us expected the 3DS to be doing quite as strong as it's doing.
Even
it's still like it's 2 million less than the previous years, but I mean, this is
not even quite
an old system.
Yeah, this is 2012 it launched, or was that the Wii U? When did it was 2012, early 2012.
Yeah, 2012. So yeah.
13 was
yeah. It's going on its 6th year and it's still pretty strong.
Yeah. It's got legs. I mean, how many? Right? Just it's sold half as many units as the Switch in the same time frame, roughly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it shifted 3 months because the Switch came out late and yada yada, and the Switch really blew through Christmas numbers. We know that.
Yeah.
But point being, this is still a sizable chunk of the.
There's no reason it should be doing as well as it's doing, but it's somehow doing it.
It's another contributor to Nintendo owning Christmas this year, right? They did more hardware sales than PlayStation and Microsoft combined.
Yeah, and they've done that a few years with the 3DS. Beating out like even I think PlayStation and true. Xbox.
You're right. Just the 3DS on its own was beating those.
So true. So yeah, it's definitely when they've got a home console system that's working for them as well. This is one way that Nintendo stays super profitable is by having 2 successful systems running at the same time.
Or 3 if you count the minis.
Yeah.
Right. Because they figured those into console numbers as well, because they sold a few million of those.
Yeah, that's on here too.
So, I was just going to say, as Kimishima was saying, this is aimed for children and for budget-conscious consumers. So that's a lot
kind of an entry level as well.
Yeah. You don't want the kid on your Switch, buy him a 3DS. Or 2DS.
Yeah, I mean, aside from parents, it's like I don't know anybody who themselves says I want a Switch, but I'll just buy a 3DS because it's cheaper.
Yeah, probably not.
But parents for kids, like especially small kids that want a Switch, and it's like I wouldn't let a small child carry this thing around.
Yeah, or let's try them with this as their first system and see how they treat it, and then. Decide. But also, like I said, for somebody, even, somebody like myself, if I had not purchased a 3DS and now it's gotten to the point where I can pick up a regular brick old 2DS for $80 with a game, and there's this huge software library that's out there of decently well-reviewed games, like it's a slam dunk. Yeah.
Nah, it's fair enough. Especially it's $80 with something. They have a bunch of different bundles, and now we're just doing Nintendo's marketing for them. So let's move.
Yeah, we're just making a commercial.
We've got software sell-through figures. I don't know if there's really any need to stop here and talk about this. So looking forward. So basically, it's kind of. Here's about I thought this was a really interesting figure here.
Yeah.
The 3DS software total units shipped worldwide. It's not sales, but shipped. It varies here from all the other figures, so maybe software is struggling a bit.
Units in 10,000s.
Well, that's the thing, though. When you go into a store, you do see tons at Target. And at Toys R Us and whatever, you do see a lot of 3DS software.
Yeah.
Switch boxes on the shelves. I don't see the tons that I see of this kind of stuff.
And the 2 Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 2, those are the ones that are bundled with the regular 2DS. So that's probably why those numbers are so much higher.
High. Yeah, especially because nobody wants Super Mario Brothers 2.
Not if they've played it.
Beast.
But yeah, Animal Crossing somehow continues. I mean, Animal Crossing is outselling Smash, although I think it's cheaper too. But that probably
is a select title.
Yeah, and Super Mario 3D Land now is as well. but only now. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised Tomodachi Life is even on this list.
I think that's a select too, isn't it?
Man, it's too bad Eric isn't on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I know that's his jam, or one of his jams.
I played that.
Yeah.
I played that every day for a year.
They also don't show, and I don't think there was there any mention of Sun and Moon Ultra in this whole thing?
No, I don't.
Well, I think they came out late enough that you know
they can ignore.
You could explain it away as that.
When did Odyssey come out?
October.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah. All right. So it's still doing well.
Yep. Yeah, we've got some more first-party sell-through numbers. Looks like it's doing about the same here as is in Europe.
Yeah.
Wait, what does this mean? First-party software sell-through in 2017, 50%. What the hell does that mean?
This graph shows percentage of. Let me zoom it back out. 2017 first-party software sell-through comprised by software released in or before 2016, broken out by region. It will give you a sense of how robust our current software lineup is.
That doesn't.
Games that actually sold. That
I think this is meaning.
That's what it's 50. Like. It tells me, and maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I see. I get it. I see it now. The red is old software, and the new the gray software. You pointed that out to me before, and I didn't get it. So okay, but for our two listeners who probably also didn't understand what the hell that graph meant, I played the dumb guy so you guys could explain it to them.
3DS is strong. Yeah, it is confusing. I don't know if it includes download versions. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
So Japanese people bought more new software, and everyone else bought more old software.
I think I know what this is getting at. This is a quote from Kimishima, who said they are continuing to develop new software, but we believe it is important to leverage the rich library. I think all this is saying is, it's just repeating. There's lots of great games you can buy a 3DS and have something to play
that are already old. Yeah, there's tons of old games that people are.
So is this just supposed to be saying Pokemon Sun and Ultra sold okay in Japan?
Now the fact that every 3DS comes packed in with a game that came out before 2017 may or may not have something to do with those numbers.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, here's our smattering of the great titles. Notice Still Divers up here.
I'll bet you all of us have at least 5 of these games.
I think I
5. Yeah, let's see. I have probably at least 5 per row.
Yeah.
Let's see. Still Diver is one for me. I have, of course, Happy Home Designer. Animal Crossing. 3D Land. I think I can get to 5 on the first row there.
You're right. Yeah, I can do. Yeah, I got 5 per row. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Zelda games. There's Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah, Fire Emblem's there.
Star Fox.
For those of you listening at home, we're gonna make a bingo card out of this.
Totally.
But yeah,
I want a new Steel Diver. Damn it! Sorry, guys.
Quality titles.
Yeah.
And here's some lovely children enjoying that if you're watching the YouTube channel. All right. We're talking now about, of course, the Nintendo Classic Editions, as they are calling them.
Global sell-through 4 million units. That's about 20% of what could have been their global sell-through. They were.
Well, this is for the Super NES.
More available.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. This is right. This one's even more stock constrained. Still, they pop up from time to time. You see them. But they're not around.
I don't know. I know we don't have the numbers, I don't think, but on the original one, was it that they only did like 1 million on the NES? Like they only made 1 million. Yeah, like it was so at least they got at least smart enough to be like, hey, let's at least make 4 times what we made for the other ones. Note the different hands. Oh. But yeah.
They have said, just to talk about production here for a moment, they are reconfirming they're still going to resume NES Classic production, and they will sell both alongside each other this year.
Yeah,
but
that'd be a nice 2-pack.
It would be a nice 2-pack. I still don't understand this angle they're throwing here, which is products as a standard for first video game experiences.
I think they see these also as an entry level that you can introduce your kids to these Nintendo IP through these systems. That's how they look at it. They're not seeing them as appealing to the people who already bought this stuff 30 years ago. As much as like, well, he wants a 2DS, I'll start him off with a Super NES Classic and
go from there.
I think they're throwing it too for people that don't play Nintendo games.
That could be too.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to reignite, those lapsed players that they talk about where I haven't played video games in 15 or 20 years, but I remember I had one of these systems or somebody had one of these systems when I was a kid. Maybe I'll pick them up. Oh, Nintendo's got some fun games. I wonder, now there's a new Mario game. Maybe I'll play that.
I think I do think the thing about, I think they thought their primary market, well, maybe they at least they're saying it as if they thought their primary market was parents buying these for their kids.
Yeah, like saying, that's what they think everything is.
Because, well, yeah, but right, you and I both have talked about Mo, and I think any gamer parent goes through this mindset of, oh yeah, I'm going to start my kid with Pong.
Yeah,
I'm going to work them up all the way.
My kid's not going to know the Switch exists until they're 17.
Yeah, they're not going to know the Switch exists until they've played every previous console.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I think everybody's kind of gone through that mindset, and I think that's what Nintendo, at least in hindsight, and maybe that was in their marketing from the beginning, but I think that's what they're at least saying they're going for now, and that is a genuine market, and that's something I intend to do with my kid at some point. I'm going to sit her down. I'm going to bust this out. I'm going to say, hey, so this is what Daddy grew up.
Problem is, she's going to want to play what Daddy's playing.
No.
So that's gonna.
I'm gonna be very careful about that.
Yeah.
But by the time
my daughter started out with tablet games, luckily she just happened to fall in love with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which was on her tablet. So then I've been able to be like, oh, you like that? Well, here you can try Sonic Mania.
Well, see, here's the thing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, through playing Mario Odyssey, she's also now been exposed to Mario 2D 8-bit. Because there's a bunch of those 2D 8-bit levels.
That's true. Yeah.
In Odyssey, so that's kind of another thing where I was like, well, that's kind of a gateway because now I could maybe be like, well, here's a game that's just about one of those levels.
Yeah,
8 worlds full of those levels, not nearly as fun.
See now, and that's the thing, right? Is the whole thing like when do you let your kids have a screen and whatever? Like when my kid starts asking for a phone, I think I'm going to give him the OG game or give her the OG Game Boy.
Yeah,
like here you go, here's your phone. Here's this is what you get to play with, and they'll be like, no, this sucks. No.
Like you can call me when you clear Super Mario Land.
Yeah, exactly. No. Start Super Mario Land. And just go from there. And when you get pissed after the weekend's over or however long it takes before you're just really bored of it, and then you get the GBASP.
if the battery still works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good. I wonder if the interest will still be there. I'll pick up an NES Classic. I mean, I will. But I wonder if the interest is still there.
Some will be, but you're right. Some of it will have dropped off.
Like I said, I felt like that with the Switch too. Like there is a certain flash in the pan kind of thing where they should have had more out at launch. But I think people might see it and still pick it up. It's still something cool to have, even if it's just shelf candy.
Some people will, but people like me and many others will be less excited about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep on rolling. Got a couple of topics. Smart device business. Of course, here's their goals. Maximize the number of people who have access to Nintendo IP. Smart device business profitable on its own in synergy with dedicated video game system business. I think those are some pretty interesting and excellent goals in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've talked about them wanting to just reach as many people as they can. The smart device business profitable on its own? I got to think it is already.
It would have to be, or they'd have pulled it by now.
Yeah. It seems like even with Animal Crossing in the early days, there were enough people probably buying those bundles to pay for it before the people stop playing or before we stop playing. And then the synergy is the one that they need to work on, I think.
Yep.
Because
I agree.
I think we all kind of expected like they'll release, Mario, and then they'll release a Mario game on the console. They'll release, Fire Emblem, and then they'll put a Fire Emblem console, and Animal Crossing on the phone, Animal Crossing on the console. And maybe they'll have some sort of interconnectivity, some sort of synergy. But their timing is really bad. Like,
I think we all thought Animal Crossing would be that crossover game that would bring the two together. Oh man, it ever not.
Although when Mario Run came out, we knew there was another Mario game probably coming because there always is. Fire Emblem, we know there's another Fire Emblem coming. Animal Crossing, we don't necessarily know, but we're pretty sure there's another Animal Crossing coming. But Mario Kart.
I was going to say, I think Fire Emblem probably has the best synergy out of any of the titles because they can add in new heroes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like any Fire Emblem game released on a video game system can be added into that fairly easily, and people will clamor over it, and it'll create interest. So, bravo to them on that.
Add Animal Crossing animals like they keep doing, but nobody cares about Animal Crossing.
I think there's some people that are playing the Animal Crossing app that have never played Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's
so if
true.
they had a new game coming out, this spring, I think all those people would be interested.
And then they're not going to like it because they're not going to be waiting on the animals hand and foot.
They're going to like it more.
They're going to be saying,
I thought this was a game about I thought this was about being enslaved by a bunch of animals.
Getting the same four fish.
We'll see.
That's right.
But look for Animal Crossing election night coming up.
I don't see Animal Crossing Pocket Camp selling anybody on Animal Crossing, though, is the problem.
No, unless you're just one of those people that like cute things. I think there is Nintendo, like with Yoshi and Kirby, I think there is a certain cute market that people are just like, oh, that's cute, I'm going to buy it.
I mean,
that's my wife.
There's probably people who have picked this up and not played it. Like we expected to play Pocket Camp until the next Animal Crossing was released, or at least I did. I think what Max was getting at there is I think there's people that haven't played Animal Crossing, have picked it up, and said, this game is really cute. And when Animal Crossing comes out, whenever that will be, they'll say, I played that on my phone.
And I hope this Nintendo one's way better.
I hope I've forgotten how bad that game was. If you're still enjoying that game, I mean, props to you. Go for it. But I think we all got burned out really quickly.
Now, don't be negative. No.
I know. Just
you're
5. Oh, yeah. I think my daughter would still enjoy it if I let her play it. She had a fun time with that. But it's not an Animal Crossing game.
All right. Well, we've got some more interesting numbers here. Here's a good buddy, Super Mario. And as you can see, it still has that monthly active users are pretty high.
Yeah.
Notice they don't give actual numbers.
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, it's many versus few. So
it's
it's always had more many than few.
I didn't even really pay attention to that. There's no
numbers. What other company does this fly?
Oh, there's like what other? Yeah, who else could tell their investors we have many versus few? We have many more this month and fewer next month.
So the other interesting thing about this is an active user probably just means someone playing it. Doesn't necessarily mean anyone buying it.
No, it doesn't even necessarily mean anybody playing it. It just means people logging in to check something.
Yeah. So it's monthly active.
That's true because it's monthly.
monthly.
So if I've logged in once this month, accidentally clicking it, that makes me an active user.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I didn't notice it said. Yeah, it does say once per month.
Wow.
Yeah,
Launching the application at least once per month. So if you just check in.
So they've had in
a lot of people checking in.
They've had many people launch the application.
Many.
They were trying to delete it off their phone. Whoop.
But apparently they had
just under many.
Yeah.
Slightly less than many. But way more than a few.
They had somewhere between many and few. But it seems to me more on the mini side than the few side.
But when you set the goal of just having people interact with your IP as being a win, this is a win for them because these are almost many people interacting with the IP. Yeah, probably.
Almost many people.
Almost many people
have opened the game.
Well,
maybe by accident.
Well, the dot is under many, but it's on the many side. It's closer to many than few.
Half of many.
But that said, the dot for August is really right about in the middle between many and few.
Could we call that some?
Yeah. Some people played it in August.
They've gotten closer to mini from August, all the way up through October, but they haven't really. And really, I guess more people logged into it because they were probably hoping there'd be some tie-in with Odyssey when Odyssey launched. That's why people logged in October.
Well, the other thing is, I wonder how garbage was the first half of the year that they're only going to show you these months.
A few.
It was much fewer before July.
I'm sorry, but they say few is 0. That's not.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
But they don't say what many is.
Usually there was nothing over there. That doesn't mean there's nothing there.
Many is hundreds.
You think anyone at the meeting raised their hand during this part, or do you think they just said, "Move along"?
They're just like, yeah, great. Look at that chart.
It was incredibly small on the screen, so they could not.
As you can see, these lines just keep getting higher and higher, closer to many.
All right, I do have some numbers. And it was downloaded 200 million times. Yes,
that's many.
It's free, and it has 20 million active users. I don't know at which point this was 20 million, but at some point it had 20 million active users.
So is that 10% of people that downloaded it?
That's many users.
So
yep.
Yeah.
And it's probably people like me that log in every day to get their
their points.
Platinum point.
Well, if it was at 20 million,
I would love it if they released numbers on my Nintendo of like how many people are doing the weekly login bonus.
I just want to see how many coins worldwide expire every month.
Yeah.
Those would be great numbers.
Because they never mention that. I mean, that's something they do to try to engage their people. They never mention that in these meetings about just how the rewards program is doing.
Because it's not a direct return on investment, but you would think it would be something they'd mention in marketing.
Yeah.
Nintendo could spin that as people loved our coins so much they don't even spend them. They just like to
watch them expire.
Just collect them and let them expire.
Until they go away. Yeah. Until
many coins have expired versus few.
Many coins have expired. Few have been spent on anything, probably. I would imagine more coins have expired. Far more coins have expired than have been spent on anything.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, moving along. Now this next one is one of the more interesting infographics in the whole presentation.
How the hell would they get those numbers, dude?
Well, if you're My Nintendo, do they ask you if you're male or female?
Yeah, I guess you're male or female.
Just the character you make
in your account.
Yeah.
Well, in your account, it's linked to your Nintendo account, which can be male or female, I think.
You're supposed to give your real name and age as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if there's anybody trying to figure out how.
Here's the
somebody's
thing:
male or female by their name.
You only have a My Nintendo account if you had a Wii U or 3DS. Which,
right.
Well, a lot of people had 3DSs. It's still
actually, if you had to go out of your way to create a Nintendo account, because that was a separate website that came out kind of after. Yeah,
you're right. You're right. It was late on the 3DS, so there's probably a fair portion of 3DS owners that never had a My Nintendo account.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine there's a lot of people that didn't sign in with that. Go ahead, Max.
Imagine there's a lot of people that started them after they started playing this, just so they can save it.
That could be. It's hard to say how they got
this. You
this.
didn't need to, though. Couldn't you do it with the Google Play or something else?
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to create an account, but it does urge you to create an account because remember, you could lose all your data if it's not linked to your Nintendo account.
I still don't buy that they have hard numbers on this. I think it's got to be people that selected female somewhere. And,
I would think so too.
And
not just females, but adult females.
Mm-hmm. Well, does it say adult?
It does. Over to the side, it says a high percentage of user base, with the majority being female users being adults.
Well, then, probably because somewhere they had to.
Because adult females are downloading it and giving it to their kids.
Well, also
just shut up and play this.
Maybe they've got it tied into some cross-reference information where somebody has said I'm 18 to something and probably wasn't.
Do you remember a few years ago when Nintendo decided they were going to actively start courting females for their games, and I think they even made like a YouTube channel like for Nintendo girls.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to that, but I feel like this is more just remnants of that, of them just saying. Which, like I said, I don't feel like. I know at one point video games were probably 80-20 or 70-30 male-female, but I think now it's a lot closer to 50%. But
I disagree.
It depends on the game, I think.
For
mobile games,
casual
probably
phone
have
games,
more.
Sure.
Yeah.
But for any sort of console or PC gaming, it's still very, very, very heavily male dominated. And maybe. not that I'm.
Maybe it depends on the game though too.
It does, but in general, I guess right. Well, first off, PC or Xbox and PS4. Xbox in particular is like the shooter box.
Yeah.
Right. That's just not particularly female friendly. It really is. I mean, even not even.
You don't see girls in Call of Duty telling people they hope they get cancer all the time.
No, probably not. But like even, I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of all of their first party titles, or all of their like the big Xbox exclusives, and they all are very, like main male character, male oriented, like those kind of games, right? Whereas Nintendo's never had those. Their only shooter is a female character, right?
You mean Splatoon?
Well, okay, I don't care. I forgot about
because as we know, those are all trans squids.
Yeah, for a long time, trans furry squids.
That's right.
If you've been to the Ankopolis Square,
they had an infographic for that in their presentation.
Trans squids,
and furry. High percentage of furries.
Yeah, wouldn't it be awesome if they did like report that? They're like, we found that a lot of Splatoon people are really pro trans, pro gay.
And I biffed on Splatoon, but right, historically Nintendo's only shooter was Metroid.
Yeah.
But right, Nintendo's just doesn't have those testosterone
games.
Yeah.
What I take away from this is Animal Crossing. That's for girls.
Animal Crossing and Pokemon probably have. I would think Animal Crossing might have a higher percentage of girl players than boy players in general.
Probably. Like so, when I first bought my 3DS, I was in a Target And I was walking through the Nintendo section, and somebody was looking through games. I think I've told you guys this story before, but it bears repeating. And some guy goes, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Now, this is probably 2013. This guy goes, Animal Crossing New Leaf, what's that? He's like, is that a good game? And the Target employee goes, it's kind of for like, 5 or 6 year old girls. And at the time, I probably already had like 100 hours into it. And I was like, well.
Wow. So they obviously didn't play it.
Well, yeah.
And you should have just said, like me.
Like me. Yeah, I didn't. But I think it was somebody shopping for their girl, so maybe they were doing it. But I thought it was funny. I was like, he's right.
5 or 6 years old is pushing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of reading in Animal Crossing.
There's a lot of reading. Yeah.
I can say that everyone who has ever been on the podcast, I'm relatively sure, has put serious time into Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
we can all count it in the hundreds of hours, I'm sure.
If you like Nintendo, you've played a bunch of Animal Crossing. Thanks to New Leaf, because I hadn't before New Leaf. Everybody else was an earlier adopter, I think.
Now, okay, New Leaf or Animal Crossing, right, is one of those ones that you're like, and then finally you pick it up and then you put in hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Zelda, you're like, no, I'll rent it, maybe. And then you buy it. And Doom and Splatoon and now
I bought New Leaf just based on the buzz. I was it came out right about the time that I bought a 3DS, and I was I had no interest, but everybody was just playing it. So what you say when the new one comes out?
The final cherry to pop, man. When the Switch Pokemon comes out, you just need to bite the bullet. You just need to bite the bullet.
Gotta catch them all.
You just need to do it. You just need to do it, man.
Who do you think I am?
One of us.
We'll start a peer pressure campaign.
Yeah, no, totally. We're gonna pressure.
You guys gonna knit me a Pikachu hat?
We're one of us is gonna fly out to where you live and start leaving.
That's one of those games that
when you're not at home.
I'm so happy that I haven't caught that bug yet, because I can see how it takes over people's lives. Although not so much recently. So. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey man,
if they could do something to actually make Pokemon fresh, maybe it'll be the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon games.
It better be, or Pokemon will die a slow, painful death. It needs to be a full reboot, and it needs to be a Breath of the Wild. I mean, you know what I mean? Pokemon.
What if it was an open world Pokemon?
That's what it needs to be. That's exactly what it needs to be. You need to start out in a town, and you need to go on a journey, and you need to, whenever you run into tall grass, you need to, spot Pokemon, or however they work the mechanics.
Pokemon MMO. Oh.
Maybe it needs to be a persistent world, but it needs to be their next big thing, or it's dead. Pokemon, in Japan, it's already been taken over by Yokai Watch. Pokemon Go, I think, got a huge buzz and made it obvious that there was a giant market out there, and then they squandered it by really, and I'm sorry to say, Jason, being a crappy game.
Have they put DLC into Pokemon mainline games before yet? Like, have they had stuff where you can buy Great Balls or anything like that?
They have had an add-on thing that you would download, like the Pokemon Dream Radar, that you could get items to transfer into your game.
Because I know they did. I know they've done stuff where, like, if you buy them both, you might get so many Pokeballs in the game for buying, as a pre-order bonus. But I just wasn't sure if they actually had ones where you could pay money for it, because I know with Pokemon Shuffle and Pokemon Go, I could see that coming to a Pokemon game at some point where
I think
they start selling you stuff.
It's all been free so far that I can recall.
Sell you some lures.
There's the bank for $5.
Yeah, that's true.
They come up with little. Go ahead.
I said that's just separate though. That's not.
Yeah.
Count that as DLC.
As an in-game thing. It's a nice feature though.
It is a nice feature.
What's our next slide?
Well, here's the thing, though. If you want to transfer your Pokemon games through the past few games to the next game, or your Pokemon to the next game for the past few games now, the bank's the only way to do it. So you gotta pay if you want to transfer your Pokies. So it's almost there. It's dancing on that line of paid DLC.
Now you want to talk about many versus a few. Oh. As you
Here
can
we go.
see, somebody's soaring to many.
We've got a.
Now,
I believe it's safe to say that this has reached many.
well,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, what graph is just straight linear like that? That looks fake to me. But
It's
I
been
would
a
say-
successful game. We've got 2 people at least
Here's
right
this-
now.
monthly active
half of
users
us.
refers to the number of unique users. There is no numbers here. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mo. That just drives me nuts.
No,
So we
other
got
than
2
zero.
people that seem to really enjoy it. And you guys, I've talked about this before, but you guys actually legitimately enjoy playing this. You're not getting Nintendo points out of it.
There's
You're
very
not
minimal.
logging in. You're logging in because you want to.
We love Fire Emblem. We keep playing.
Yeah. Even
is
though
it-
you're just spending orbs trying to get new characters, right? That are never as awesome as you want them to be.
They gave us 53 ones this past week, so
Well,
Yeah,
I'm hoarding them.
That's
the first
it's the same
anniversary.
model. Oh, it's been out a year. Holy crap!
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot this came out right before the Switch.
To
yeah,
tell
they
you,
gave
I
us
was-
a few more months this time.
It's the same
Graph.
model with this Clash Royale game I play, right? It's you keep getting you have a deck of cards that you use, which are your characters, and you can upgrade them if you get more of the cards and whatever, and then every so often they release a few new cards. But it's the same model, and it's a tried and true one apparently, because I know like Blizzard's Hearthstone game is similar. The pay model and the character development model, like this is a model that's been used over and over again. They just kind of applied it to Fire Emblem here.
But no matter how wishy-washy the user base has been, that money just keeps going up and up and up. I would guess this is their most successful mobile game
definitely.
Yeah.
And
It's got to be.
as far as
people that are
dollars.
playing are continuing to put money into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody here put any money into it?
No.
I have not. I intend to never cross that
Wow.
line. So
I saw
Yeah.
someone on Twitter say they probably spent $1,500 on the game.
Wow.
I have yet
Better
to
than
put a
800.
penny. I have yet $1,500. Jeez.
Yeah.
it's in an abyss. Once you started putting money into this, you would, it would make
Yeah.
Edge
Never
Arcade.
stop.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that's what it seems like with most of the free to play games. It's like they're really only targeting the whales. The average person, like you know what I mean? You have to spend so much money to even make the
Yeah.
purchase worth it.
Well, and the
Well,
thing
so
is, the
it's
people
expensive.
putting money into it are not Nintendo fans, because Nintendo fans are pretty patient people. It's people who play other mobile games.
It could be
they're,
Nintendo. It could
They're
be-
used to throwing money into games, probably.
Well,
Well, I
yeah,
think-
but it could be Nintendo people that just have
It could be.
cash to burn. But go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, I think we've got a different kind of game here, as this game offers a lot to do and a lot of way to earn the in-game currency through different events, and it's always being updated. I don't really feel tempted to spend money that much. Do you, Max?
Not really. Because if I don't get the player I want on this banner, another one's coming out, and I can, try for something different.
Right.
If that makes sense.
And you get,
Yeah.
and you have, I don't know if we have 100 or 200 characters right now. That I know it's in the hundreds of characters you can get.
Yeah.
So I mean, it isn't like you have to have one. There's different strategies you can use, and
It's not like you got to
Unless you
save up
just-
200 tickets to get Tom Nook or KK
Right.
Slider.
right, it's a
Right.
much fairer model. And if you're a
Yeah.
free to play player, you can still have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm being deprived of the gaming experience by not spending money on it.
And there's not a lot of player versus player in it. Not
No.
to the point of where it would be competition. So there's no pay to win kind of
Yeah.
aspect. And there is one other thing I wanted to mention, talking about the first anniversary. They are working on a TV commercial. I have to say that will be a first for. I don't think Mario Run had one that I can remember.
I don't think so. You very rarely see any kind of mobile game. I mean, occasionally you'll see some. I remember like a few years ago during a Super Bowl seeing ads for stuff, but you don't see a lot, or I don't see a lot of mobile video games getting ads on TV in general.
I see Candy Crush getting one every now and then. But and there's maybe one or two obscure ones that you'll see, and you don't even know what you're watching. But
they could also do these as YouTube.
The Supercell ones will pop up from time to time as well.
Yeah,
I just noticed because I play those games, but I don't know. Has anyone spent any money on any of these mobile games from Nintendo?
No.
I put a couple bucks into Miitomo one time so I could get the devil outfit. No, it was one of those things where I had told myself if the devil outfit ever comes up again, because I was going to buy it one day and then I didn't. And it was one of those random outfits that comes up and I didn't see it again for like 3 or 4 months. And then it finally came up one day and I was a few coins shy of being able to afford it. So I was like, I'm going to buy that because I love Satan. So I bought it. And it looks awesome. And now it's worthless. But hey, Mario Kart Tour.
That's right. This was the big surprise announcement. We got a new mobile game on the horizon. Mario
coming
Kart
one day.
Yeah, as you see the release date there at the bottom, April 2018 to March 2019. I think that has to be the biggest release date window I've ever seen for any type of game.
Well, they're just like reminding them of what the fiscal year is.
Yeah.
Right.
To be released sometime within the next fiscal year. Well, yeah, obviously they never know. We know for one thing for sure about their mobile games, they never really know when they're coming.
They don't say
they've been worse about that. Yeah.
I feel like this was perhaps in response to some kind of pressure that some kind of we need a new mobile game. Maybe the investors are saying we need something new.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can draw up a title for that, right?
This will be the most boring racing game that's ever been on a mobile platform.
I'm thinking
are Sony or Microsoft putting out mobile games? Why does Nintendo need to do this? I would much rather have another AAA Switch title coming than this.
You remember playing Mario Kart when you were 16. You then see an app that's Mario Kart. Then you realize that there's a Switch Mario Kart, and then you buy a Switch.
I didn't really play. To me, Mario Kart, I was not like Mario. Like Super NES to me was just not a. I was playing a PC at the time, and it wasn't like I had. I didn't shell out for an expensive PC. I had kind of a moderate, mid-range to crappy PC, and it was still capable of doing things that looked a lot better than Mario Kart.
But mobile games are the gateway drug to Nintendo's Nintendo Switch heroin. They just want to give you a little taste, and then you're going to get hooked, and you're going to go buy a Switch.
But it's not like you're getting like with the Animal Crossing. It's not like you're getting a little taste of the heroin. You're getting a little taste of like, some fake methadone or something. I don't know what you're getting, but you're not getting anything approaching the actual experience.
Like I don't expect this to be like an accelerometer game or a gyroscope game that you can actually drive the car by tilting your phone. Although maybe they will.
They might.
I almost expect it to be some sort of weird, I don't know, random roll turtle race where they roll dice and your car moves up a line or something. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I was just going to ask, you guys have played more mobile games than I. You had a fun racing experience on mobile at all?
I don't know. How would you do it if you don't have tilt controls? That's the best you got. I don't know how you would do it otherwise. I can't. Like I've played some games with like the little on-screen like joystick things, right? Where you just have kind of a little circle that you move your thumb around.
Which I hope they never do that for Nintendo's mobile games.
Yeah, no, that's not an that's an acceptable control scheme, maybe for Pac-Man at best.
This could even be like the Super Nintendo one where it's except for like a top-down view where you use the Animal Crossing controls to just move your finger to steer.
that would be a travesty.
Put your finger in front of the car, kind of thing, to lead it to where you're going. I could see them doing something like that.
Katamari Damacy.
But yeah, I don't see this being. I've learned at this point not to ever expect a Nintendo game on mobile to be good.
Yeah.
But I could be way wrong. And I'm also just wondering, how are you going to monetize this? Are you going to sell us like red shells?
I think it's going to be
sell
by
us
playing
gas.
Yep.
Or you run out of gas at a certain point.
You get to play 3 times a day to drop more.
Yeah. That'll be.
I can't see this being a legitimate competitive gaming experience.
No,
I cannot either.
But then again, Mario Kart never really has been. But
yeah, but they're going to be real excited about it when it finally launches.
Oh yeah,
Mario Kart Tour looks and sounds so generic. But hey, it's another mobile game. Get pumped.
Well, this is kind of a secondary theme to all of this investor meeting, which is getting their IP in front of different people. So this is all part of that. So long as someone is looking at this that normally would not have looked at a Nintendo IP, I mean, they've had success.
That's true. So they look up racing games. At some point, this will be in the top of the shop on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like, ooh, I love Mario Kart. I can play it on my phone.
As any flasher who's ever been busted and sent to jail knows, sometimes you don't necessarily want to wag your IP out in front of everybody, and unless you're putting it in really the best light.
Yeah, I don't know I wonder about that too. If Animal Crossing and stuff like that can spoil people on it and make them just kind of put off.
It kind of did for me. I mean, as a fan of the old Animal Crossing games, it kind of reminded me of the repetitive nature of those games, and I honestly think it probably made me slightly less inclined to pick up the next one, even though I will anyway.
Or just if people play it and think this is what this game is, but I don't think that confusion will be as much with Mario Kart.
Agreed, because most people are familiar with Mario Kart, and if it sucks, they'll go, "Oh, this is nothing like the real Mario Kart."
Yeah, that was a crappy Mario Kart game.
But for most for most people probably will, or at least a substantial portion of people who tried out the Animal Crossing phone app, they don't necessarily have an experience with a real Animal Crossing game. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's probably a fair percentage.
Yeah.
And if that's what they think it is, then I wouldn't buy it.
Well, the Animal Crossing app, it just reminds me of all those Facebook games I used to play.
Yeah.
You have to get the stuff, and you have to have your friends help you, and then all your friends quit playing, so you can't do anything.
Well, they don't want to make a good game that's going to take you away from their core system console experiences. So I don't know.
Something annoying that makes you hate Nintendo. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
All right, it was kind of mentioned earlier, Pokemon Go. I just want to say that it is still going strong, and according to Kimishima, I don't remember what article I read that, but it was mentioned it's still going strong. And there is still a dedicated fan base, although I'm the only one in the podcast or in our group of friends. There may be some others in the group of friends that are still playing, but
every gym in your town is owned by you.
No, sadly not. It is still surprisingly competitive at times.
Yeah.
If you want an example, I went to eat pizza last night, my favorite pizza place. And there's 2 gyms like a block down the road. Of course, after I eat my pizza, I go and take over the gyms. Before midnight last night, both of the gyms were taken over by another team. So
there's some kid that lives next door.
Yes, probably across the street watching me like he's finally gone.
Man, remember when those gyms wouldn't last? Like, I would be at a restaurant, and like the entire time I was at the restaurant, I'd just watch the gym change hands every 2 minutes.
I will say this. That reminds me. There's a small town not far from where I live. It's very small, very, very rural. There's only like a couple of restaurants there. And in front of one of the restaurants there is a gym. And I have been there in situations like that. When I thought Pokemon Go was dead in the bigger city, You go there and it's like you take over that gym. There's somebody there taking it back that minute.
That's all they have to live for. There's only 2 restaurants in town.
Strangers coming to our town, taking over our gym.
Yep. You wear a Pokemon shirt. I've wore a Pokemon shirt around town. I live in a fairly good-sized city. Very rarely anyone ever says anything to me. I go to that town. It's like, hey man, Pokemon. That's where it's at. They're like, what?
Well, at least they weren't like, don't mess with my gym.
I was gonna say, oh, it's got to be GPS hackers, but I guess not.
Yeah.
No, locals. I'm pretty sure. So. They didn't go slash my tires or nothing like that. So
well, no, I'm glad to hear it's still got a following.
Definitely.
Because I haven't. To be fair, I haven't checked it out since the last several updates. But it felt soulless when it came out. You know what I mean? For a Pokemon game, there was just too little to it.
Not a lot of character.
That said, both the wife and I did spend, many months going to parks and stuff and whatever. And if I had kids, maybe they'd be bored of it by now, though.
It was a phenomenon when VH1 makes one of those retro shows where they talk about like, I love the 2010s.
They want to talk about Pokemon Go.
Like, Pokemon Go, let's go walk outside to find something on our phone.
Pop up.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
All right.
I can see it.
Moving right along.
We're going to talk last about utilizing Nintendo's IP, of course. And of course, this is what I was just saying, is increasing the visibility of their IP. Just getting it out there in the world. And, of course, they're just talking about here some of their marketing campaigns. Nobody knows what that box is.
We got shirts. We got cereal. And if you log into your Switch news section, that same picture.
Scroll back to the cereal real quick. Up a little bit.
Which is the only picture
next to it. Scroll next to it, I think, is the blurb I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Kellogg's released a breakfast cereal in the U.S. that features Mario on the box. Now,
that's all it is.
The detail that they seem to be leaving out that seems to me as big a detail as Mario being on the box is the fact that it is, in fact, Super Mario cereal.
And that it's got an amiibo that's tied to their Odyssey game and is cross-marketed. But it's just a red box with Mario on it.
I love
it
how
just happens to be Mario on the box. Go ahead.
And everything else in their kitchen is just happens to be Mario themed.
Yeah, there's a Mario. I want that.
They don't even have a bowl and spoon showing the cereal.
Yeah, no, it's because you're just gonna. I think you're gonna pour it into that sipper cup.
Somebody brought over a Mario gift box that day, and this was what was in the Mario gift basket.
Yeah,
like here's a cup and a box.
It's just well, we got this little fake kitchen area.
And what are the question mark cubes? What are they actually?
They're like random. We just have some random. We need some random Nintendo. Yeah, I was wondering if one of them was a tap light.
Yeah.
But it's we have some random Nintendo stuff. We just got to put something here to make it, look like a complete breakfast, even though there's no bowl or spoon or anything. There's a banana on the back counter apparently, or something.
Mario cereal box, part of this complete merchandise.
And all that said, how many times have you seen Mario cereal in the wild yourselves? I've seen one time 2 boxes, and I got them both.
Yeah,
I've seen it once.
So
but I haven't been looking that much. I know
it's not even that good.
Well,
it's all right, but it's not. It's not bad. It's just, it's Lucky Charms. It's it tastes the same effectively. The stars are in good shape. I like the texture.
So, and for those that are not watching us on YouTube, the other one before was the Uniqlo T-shirts, which were apparently available to no one.
Those, I was gonna say those sold out pretty quick.
They were available, and then they reran them.
I tried twice, and I was on the notification list. I never could get the Splatoon one.
Go on eBay.
Oh. Yeah. Buying clothes on eBay, that just doesn't.
But here's a real moneymaker.
Yeah, Jump Up Superstar.
iTunes.
I love that. I'll just go ahead and read the blurb. Last year, we also piloted the release of the main theme songs from game software on music distribution services. Ahead of the of the game software itself. They can't just say we put out Jump Up Superstar for free.
Well, it wasn't. No, this wasn't the free one. They put this out on iTunes for $1.
Yeah, you had to download it.
Yeah,
but they
was only and I don't think they necessarily wanted anybody to pay $1. I think they just wanted the visibility.
No, they're promoting. That's where they're weird. Is they see this as them promoting the game because they even mention ahead of its release. But if you put out all the Zelda and Smash Brothers and stuff soundtracks on iTunes for sale, people would buy them.
They're hard to find.
Yeah.
It's like there's a market for video game music that they could, if they wanted to, make some money. I mean, it not costing them anything to just put them up there.
It could potentially cost them IP value, right? That's their whole thing. It's the whole thing with the vault. They will release that stuff on their schedule. However they.
Which, by the way, I saw a news article last night, I believe, that Best Buy has decided to stop carrying audio CDs. It's the end of an era, folks, and people are upset because now I guess they have to go to Walmart, Target. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
So don't expect to see any Nintendo CDs in Best Buy.
And then we have another blurb here, or not a blurb, but an infographic here that mentions the Nintendo Plus the Sports Sack. Looks like Nintendo with Shu Umemura. I don't know, some kind of makeup product.
That's for girls.
That's for girls. That's right. if you're into
Animal
that,
Crossing fans are probably into that. Yeah.
So Monopoly Gamer, and then the last one is Suzukan.
I think that's like an event at the aquarium over in Japan.
Suzukan.
So there you go. So it looks really cool. I think it's just a series of events. So
and co-marketing, co-branding, getting their IPs out there in front of people to drive sales of their target products.
Ooh, a wallet that looks like a Game Boy. I think I'll buy a Switch.
Well,
it's just that easy.
It's Nintendo trading on their nostalgia. Yeah. Like I have a feeling that they kind of botched that, or maybe sort of. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. But it seems like the Nintendo, the NES Classic, it was kind of like, here you go. You know, it's hard to get, and everyone's clamoring for it over Christmas, and they wanted to drive business towards the Switch. But I have a feeling when it comes back out for summer, they're gonna do some kind of marketing blitz with it this time, as opposed to just kind of sneaking it out.
Yeah, they have to let you know it's back.
Yeah,
Return of the King.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be a bigger deal this time around, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think it will be. I think that's their biggest misstep of the last few years, which is saying a lot because they had the Wii U as an active console during those times. But they definitely should have had more of those units out.
Yeah.
All right.
So they've got Nintendo stuff. Go for it.
They're raising the value of that IP. So the last big bit of news here, as far as their IP, is they are officially partnering with Illumination Entertainment to produce Super Mario Brothers movie.
Boo.
Terrible idea.
Yeah.
And it will be, because Nintendo has to be in control, it will be partially funded by Nintendo, partially funded by Universal Pictures, and it will be directed by CEO of Illumination, which is Chris Meledandri, I guess, and of course Meledandri.
Chris Meledandri.
Cool name.
And co-produced by Shigeru Miyamoto. Yeah.
Okay, as somebody who has played Mario games now for 35 plus years, since the arcades, since before the NES, the more you know about Mario, or pardon me, the less you know about Mario, the better. I don't necessarily mean that because he's a creepy bastard, because he is, because you've seen the old comics with his penis. Like, we've all, whenever we start telling stories about Mario, we get Lou Albino, or we get the terrible movie,
Bob Hoskins.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
we get bad things. We get bad things whenever they try to build a story out of this. And it's just better.
He's designed to be a generic character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's and that's but right. There are certain things that it's just there doesn't need to be a backstory. There doesn't need to be. You're saving a princess. It doesn't even need to be much more. You know that's almost too much.
What if the movie is Mario is missing and Luigi is the star, and he has to find Mario?
Well,
there's so much better.
That's already more than I want to know about either of them. But that said, it would be better. I'd rather have a Luigi backstory where you find out ultimately nothing about Mario.
Yeah.
Like a Luigi's Mansion movie would be great.
Oh, that would be.
But I don't know, man. Just like
I just don't want to hear Mario talking for an hour and a half.
I don't. Oh yeah. Seriously, like how you can't do Mario. You can't give Mario like 3 or 4 lines of dialogue. That's just not that. There's no way. There's no way you can listen to that for more than like 2. Like you know what I mean?
It should just be subtitles.
It can only be.
The whole thing is a silent film.
He can only say like 4 words at a time before it gets just so frigging annoying you can't listen to it anymore.
I'm already imagining like a trailer where Mario's like running down a street, like jumping and dodging over crap as it comes and explosions and
that's better than what
like I said. Yeah, it's going to be obviously not for us. Kids will enjoy it.
Can I say Odyssey already has too much story for a Mario game?
Yeah.
That's part of what bothers me about Odyssey. I just now decided that. That's one of the things that irks me about it.
But the princess has been taken by Bowser.
And he's going to marry her against her will.
And then there's a talking hat. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the whole Marion Princess Peach thing. It's just, that's too far.
I think they're trying to make it. I hate to say it because it sounds sexist, but I think it's them being sexist. I think they're making it more girl friendly.
Yeah.
Yep.
They definitely gave Peach a. Well, you don't know this yet, but Peach does kind of get more of a girl power angle. Kind of, she's a stronger character in this one than she's traditionally been, probably.
I figured that would have to be the case because
except in Mario 2, where she was the most badass character in the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't ever see that
because she could float.
Well, okay, and 3D World. That's bad.
Yeah. But yeah, they're working on making her not just the damsel in distress type.
Super Princess Peach. I'm just saying.
I'm sure she's gonna have a sassy, strong personality in the movie.
Or maybe she'll be like Zelda, who's portrayed as a strong character, but who really just whines like a stereotypical.
Who just cries and writes in her diary about how dreamy Link is.
That's you pretty much summed it up there.
That is the
how she can never live up to him.
Yeah. Father is.
But she can hold Ganon while you fight him.
Hold him for 100 years.
Yeah. And then she has trouble holding him back the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's such wonderful timing that whether you speed run Ganon in an hour or whether you put in 150 hours before you go after him, that she just happens to, happen to always walk in at that last minute.
She is good. I don't know. Yeah. I think we've talked about the movie before. I don't think any of us care.
I'm just picturing.
If it gets on Netflix, I'll watch it.
Yeah. You're talking
but
about
already, just based on the conversation, I would say Zelda would have been a better choice for a movie, but it's not.
Well, that was rumored as a Netflix series. And who knows? We don't know. Maybe this... Well, have they said this theatrical? or have they just said animated film? Because we don't know. Maybe this is going direct to Netflix.
I hope so.
Or Hulu.
Yeah.
It says
But we
animated.
interrupted. Yeah, we interrupted Jason. Let's see.
Sorry, Jason.
Oh, that's fine. I was just going to say you were talking about what kind of movie this is going to be.
Though, I think.
Anyway,
terrible.
have you seen the Minions movies? Because this is going to be
Yeah.
Mario cross Minions, I think.
Mario plus Minions.
I don't know that there will necessarily need to be
Yeah.
dialogue. There'll just be squeaks and pointing.
Yeah.
I would like to see the Toads basically as Mario's minions.
Well, these people also did, Secret Life of Pets, stuff like
Which
that.
was
But
not
it's
as good as Zootopia.
no.
No,
But-
it was
but-
still it was a watchable.
But kids like it. That's the thing for
Enjoyable.
kids. They're gonna enjoy stuff like that. By the way, the other big news this week is that Toad is not wearing a hat.
That's right. It's his head.
It's part of his
I
head.
I was pretty sure we all knew that, right?
I thought-
Well, in
No,
the Super
it was-
Mario cartoon, Toad would sometimes take off his hat to
Yeah.
reveal a little tiny head.
Okay.
So,
I just,
so
I
now
just
our
read
whole
the-
my whole world is blown.
Anything outside of the games themselves, or something that geared to Nintendo Power, I consider
Not canon. Yeah.
I just read a really long article about was it his head or a hat, and then later that week an interview came out and he said, "Oh, it's his head."
Just casually, as if he decided in that. We're talking
Yeah.
about Koizumi.
I get,
This is-
what?
That's it.
Yeah, this is planted information from Nintendo.
Do we have to clear that with Miyamoto, or maybe one of the big things will be Toad gets half of his head cut off in the Mario movie. so they're like, let's make sure people realize it's not a hat, so that the scene can have the full weight.
They'll pan away like Reservoir Dogs, and then they come back, and like a
The music
chunk of his
plays.
head will be missing.
Bowser will be dancing. Circus to the right, here I am. Oh, he's carving into the toadstool. Sorry.
I would love to see that.
It'd be-
scene, man.
I would too.
yeah. But
All right.
sorry,
That's
that's the presentation. That's,
yep, that's the presentation, and as the presentation says, thank you very much. So, yeah, this is kind
they've
of a
given
new
us so
format.
much to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have. They have definitely have. But it's been
Yeah.
kind of a new format this week. Hope you guys liked it, and probably doing it again in another 3 months when we get the big year-end results. So let us know
Yeah.
what you think.
Hopefully, they
We're
got more
always,
information for us.
Hopefully, they
That's
have more games.
Maybe they'll have some release dates that are
More charts
less
and graphs.
the many and the few.
Many and a few.
That's right. Maybe many people will enjoy this rather than a few.
Rather than a few.
few.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. All right. Well, thank you as always for watching. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can here on YouTube. Just drop us a comment or message us directly. Of course, you can find us on Twitter at NOA Podcast. And of course, you can listen to us on Stitcher and iTunes. So thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good night.
Night.
Party on.